Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our webinar on AI. Um, of course, AI is a very large topic. We are just doing the generative part, and we are doing just the communication, but it's a very overlapping area. So it's not only communication. Without knowing how ChatGPT works, you cannot refine stories. Without knowing how Midjourney works, you cannot prompt for good images. There are a lot of communication people registered, but also a lot of program management colleagues, even finance colleagues, because this is a very promising area, a very confusing area at the same time. There is a big hype, and we consider this as a first step to find our way in this field. And we are happy that it became a very popular thing in the beginning of this year, towards the middle of this year, and we are happy that we are already as Interact organizing a webinar on AI. Your hosts will be myself and Neboisha, my colleague and friend from Interact Office Valencia. Myself, I'm from Interact Office Vienna. We are communication experts. We work in many different areas. We are like Joker. We run to everything, and we try to do our best when we get ourselves into something, be it social media, websites, campaigns. And this field is very new. We are also in the learning phase. We are in no way experts on AI. And what is expert on AI anyway? It's such a new field. I see people on LinkedIn looking for external experts to talk to them about generative tools and stuff, but I see very few experts, and those claiming they're experts, honestly, even the developers who develop these tools are not fully aware of what these tools are capable of. They say even for the creators of ChatGPT, it will take 2-3 years to understand what exactly ChatGPT is capable of. So we are all beginners. Some of us have had more curiosity and interest, and we are here to share our experience. And without further ado, let's start with our introduction presentation. So welcome everybody. Today, this is what we are going to do. We will start with the 15 minutes introduction session, and you are here now. We'll talk about the hype in general and what we are capable of very shortly. We won't go into much detail. Today will be mostly about hands-on demonstration. There will be a lot of different tools. We will show what we learned and try them. After the introduction, my colleague Neboisha will take over and he will talk to you about language models. Nebo, what will you tell us today?
Well, I assume that most of you have heard of ChatGPT, but there are other tools out there that you should definitely try out. And I will show you what are the strengths and differences of each and how we can really use it in our daily work. I expect and hope that most of you, when we finish with this webinar, will immediately start using at least some of the tools that I show you. And I hope that you also share what I show you with the projects, because what I will show you will greatly improve the quality of writing that all of us do, especially for project summaries, project reports, and things like that.
Which is much needed both in programs and in projects. So the expertise you gain here, you can pass it on to project beneficiaries, which would improve overall communication of Interact community. Nebo's session will take about 1 hour, and we will of course have 2 breaks in the whole webinar today. We will have a break, and then I will take over and I will talk about visual generative tools. I'm sure you heard about, you have seen different tools like Midjourney, DALL-E, Stable Diffusion. What are they? What they can do? We will go into that. And at one, we will try to. I hope there will be enough time to give you the floor. We will make sure to answer your questions, but we will also ask you what have you been doing and how does it look for you, and do you have, apart from what we showed today, do you have anything to share? So be prepared for this question. Let's talk about the hype first a bit. Uh, if you notice, the talk about AI usually ends up with this pessimistic discourse. I think this is partly because of the way it has been developed in Hollywood, in pop culture, like Terminator and this post-apocalyptic movies, dystopian movies, that AI will one day take over and do to us what we humans did to each other in the course of human history. Um, yes, it may or may not happen, but we are in nowhere close to that point. The robots are barely able to serve you a coffee right now. So if we know if we know what AI is capable of, we will be more optimistic about it, and we can have more fair judgments. And for that, we should be realistic and we should be informed. We should look into what is available, especially in our field. You know, it, until you need something, you don't look into it in detail. Think about school, classes. You learn a lot of things, but when you need them in the real life, only then you understand actually what they mean. And it's the same thing here. The more practice you make, the more you understand and know what you can use it for. As with every technology, also with the AI, there are some fears. They may be founded, but I find these developments in AI as similar to the developments uh, when it's not as big as inventing or making the internet public, VLAN, but I think it is a revolution like smartphones or social media. I remember 10, 11 years ago, I was working in public, and I told my supervisors that we need to be active on social media, and they were like, "Oh, it's for hipsters. It's not for public organizations. We are too serious to be active." Now they are hiring social media specialists. So let's get into it before it becomes too late and understand it and decide how we can benefit from it the best. But of course, some concerns are very well founded. There are regulatory concerns, and they are very well founded. It's an unregulated field, and even the developers are very careful about many things, such as children rights, privacy, intellectual property, deepfake. These are real concerns. But again, like we have the web and we have the dark web. The fact that we have dark web doesn't mean that we should not use web. Web has uh, changed our lives, right? Um, the One of the big concerns is artists claiming their property and name rights because, as you will see today, you can imitate a lot of work. A lot of artists may become unemployed. They may end up in a situation where there are only a few really artistically driven people will pay for their work, and the rest will be generated by AI. This is a real concern. Um, Sooner or later, this area will be regulated, and the talk around the regulation is that it may become mandatory at some point to share prompts used for each generation, so that the authorities make sure you don't steal somebody else's work. but again, it's too early to assume many things. So in Interact, for a start, for now, what we think, Nebo and I, what we think we can how we can use the AI tools for a good cause. When it comes to language tools, Nebo, you wanna go through this?
Well, yes, but very quickly because I'll dig into it later. So with language tools, we can really start writing better and turn super long text into concise pieces. As you know, the attention span is shrinking, plus people have less time. Everything is going on Reels and in TikTok format. So learning and doing short writing is learning that skill and saving time doing it is really important. And, you know, Mark Twain said, I didn't have time to write you a short letter, so I'm writing you a long one. With the AI tools, you can really do shorter, more concise writing faster. So you can save a lot of time. And those tools are smart enough to adjust the tone of voice. It's not just one output that you get, but you can adjust the tone to be more formal, less formal, with a bit of humor. With mentioning specific keywords, you can tailor even that, choosing which words to show up and which words maybe not to show up. So the language tools are really advanced, as you'll see in a few minutes.
Nice, thanks, Nebo. And similarly, in visual tools, it may help a lot with your daily work. You can visualize your imagination. You don't have to make a Google search and end up in paid stocks, limited results. You can generate almost anything and with amazing results. You can create your own stocks. The tools are at a phase where you cannot distinguish between the real photography and AI generated photography. It's also a remedy to some privacy concerns, because like when you take the images of the people in street photography or in events and stuff, you need to take explicit permission. AI generated image can be a good remedy for that. Not only that, but many other things, and we will discover them along the way. So without further introduction, warm-up, let's straight dive into it, and we will start with Nebo's intervention.
Thank you, Arkham. Just share my screen. Here we go. Okay, so welcome again. This session is called Empowering Internet Communication with Large Language Models. And if you haven't heard of large language models, don't worry. It's a bit of a tongue twister. You'll learn what these are. Arkan, if you can please keep an eye on chat and interrupt me at any point.
Sure.
It'd be great. If there's any questions, we can stop the presentation at any time. So I don't know if you remember, there was a film from 2004 called I, Robot with Will Smith, and it's about the topic of AI. And of course, the film is based on the book by Isaac Asimov, which I've read as a child, but maybe I should revisit. And there's a famous quote where the detective in the movie asks the robot, "Can a robot write a symphony? Can a robot turn a canvas into a beautiful masterpiece?" And the robot answers, "Can you?" And it stuns the detective a little bit. And it's fascinating for me because even in relatively modern science fiction, it was unimaginable to us that the AI, that the computers could create art. We sort of thought that one of the distinction lines between us and machines is art, that humans are capable of creating art. Well, 2023 is here, and this little illustration you can see in the upper left corner is actually generated by AI. I prompted one of the AI tools to create an illustration for music composed by AI, and in seconds, the first prompt, the first result was this. And AI, as Arkham will show you later, is capable of so much more for creating images, photorealistic, even deep fakes, which are complete copies, digital copies of real people that can look and sound exactly like that person. So we've passed that barrier. And when it comes to music, some years ago, I've shown over this already. It's an AI tool for composing music, and it's called Artificial Intelligence Virtual Artist, or AIVA for short. And I've put the link in the presentation. You can check it out later. Listen to some really wonderful music, completely composed by AI. And this kind of music is often used in the gaming industry. Gaming industry is huge, and music is a big part of computer games. So AI is already, since 2019, this has been posted, like 4 years ago, AI was capable of creating music. Can you imagine what it's capable of now? So if AI is already surpassing fiction, how can we use it in our context, in our programs, in Interreg? And some of the questions I think are probably on all of our minds are like, where is the overlap between public administration and advanced AI? Sometimes it might sound like it doesn't really fit, and it cannot really work. But as Arkam explained, it was the same with social media before. And now it's repeating with AI. So either you will jump on the train now and start using it, even the free version. You don't have to have paid ones. I will show you all the tools I show you are free for now. So either you jump on the train now or you're 5 years late, which makes me very happy that we're talking about this now, that so many of you came and registered for this webinar. So the first question, where's the overlap? We'll take a look at this a little bit. Do I need special training to be into this technology? There's always this fear, a little bit anxiety about trying something new, which is completely understandable. We don't want to feel clumsy with a new tool. But I think the barrier of entry is very low. If you want to start playing with things, it's very easy. If you can Google, if you know how to use Google well, you will be able to use any of the tools I'll show you today as well. It only when it gets to advanced image creation that things get really complicated, and Arkam can really show you the depth you can go into when it comes to the image generation. But when it comes to the large language models, things are pretty easy to start with. And then if you're creative, you can do amazing things with these tools. What kind of tools there are? Well, here I would like to launch a poll. Maybe Arkam, you can do it for me. No, I can do it. So I want to ask you just a few questions, and I will launch a very short poll now. So the first question is, have you heard of ChatGPT? And the options are no, yes, but I don't use it. Yes, I use it sometimes. And yes, I use it quite often. And there's the same question about some other tools. The second one is Google Bard, which is fairly new. And the third one is Bing AI. And I'm really curious to see how many of you use which. And let's wait for like a minute before you answer. We can see who's active, Arkam. It says 79 people, but we'll see how many answers we get. 59. Already some interesting answers, some interesting patterns are showing up, which I will show you. I will share the results with everyone. Oh, wow, almost everybody answered. 71 too. Let's wait for a few more seconds. Okay, 73. Few people sleeping or writing emails. Just check the poll. Stop with the email, check the poll, and go back to the email. Or Netflix, I don't know. I don't judge. 73, 4. Very interesting results. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Let's end the poll. I hope you can see the results on your screen right now. Yes?
I'm host, I don't know, but one of the participants should tell us.
Yes, we see it.
Okay.
You can see it. Wonderful. So the first question is super interesting because it's, have you heard of ChatGPT? And there's not a single person who hasn't heard about ChatGPT, which is great. Yes, but I don't use it. Many people, 36%. Yes, I use it sometimes, 43%. And yes, I use it quite often, 20%. So for those 20%, that one slide might be boring. But then we get into the second question, which is Google Bard. And it's the competing smart chat large language model developed by Google. And they were a bit late, which is why many of you have not even heard of it. 53% haven't even heard of Google Bard, and I will explain what it is and show how it works. No, yes, but I don't use it. 42. So already 95% of you barely know what this is, which is great for me. Yes, and I use it sometimes 5%. Know people who use it quite often, and I understand there's a good reason why. Last question, have you heard of Bing AI? No, 50%. And also great for me because I'll show it and I'm not showing you something you know. Yes, but I don't use it, 45%. That goes into 96% of you who are not into Bing AI. And it's probably the most powerful tools that I will show you today, which makes this very interesting. And yes, I use it sometimes 4%. So for me, that means you're advanced user. Let me just take a quick screenshot of this so I don't lose it. And I know I can save polls in Zoom, but it looks ugly in their Excel, so I prefer this. Okay, that's wonderful. Now we know who knows what, and I can start sharing some details. Before we jump into each of the tools, I will quickly explain the difference. What's generative AI and what are the LLMs? So generative AI are the tools that can create new content such as text, images, music, videos by learning from data. And one of the concerns that Arkham mentioned, one of the big concerns is how did these tools and this platform get all this data? They crawl the internet, as they say. They scraped images from huge databases without permission from the database owners and so on. So there's some pretty big lawsuits from this, like from not exactly this one, but from websites like Pexels and Pixabay and all of those websites that have stock images. The lawsuits are around how AI companies just stole gigabytes and terabytes and petabytes of data without permission to create those models. And we'll see how that develops. But basically, those models use all that information they collected, and they start creating new art based on all they have learned from the millions of examples that the algorithms are being fed. So, for example, it can create realistic images based on very specific prompts. And here on the left, you can see a funny one, which we made to promote this webinar. It's me riding a white horse, riding into the fantastical world of AI. And we designed it. I didn't design it. A friend of mine who's really much more advanced with Midjourney made this image, and it involved some tweaking, some programming, and so on. It wasn't easy to create a photorealistic image like this, quite the contrary. But it works, and it's really, really cool and available to public. So when they say generative AI, this is what people most usually talk about, software like Midjourney and DALL-E. And what my presentation is focused on are large language models, or LLMs, and they're a type of generative AI because they create something out of data, out of the millions of examples. But the difference is that LLMs are designed to process and understand human languages and text. They're designed to feel like you're talking to a real person. And ChatGPT is the most famous example of an LLM tool. But there are others, and we'll look at them as well. So I was thinking while I was making this presentation, okay, but which ones work for us? And I chose 6 tools. 3 of them I grouped in the first category, and those are Resumer, Paraphrase It, and Quillbot. Quillbot I actually learned about from one of you. I forgot exactly whom, but it was at the conference in Belgrade. We did with Arkham, and somebody mentioned Quillbot, and I remembered and tested it. And I decided to show it here as well.
Nebo,
Yes,
Sorry for interruption. Just making sure, is it your background noise or is it any participant
it's a
unmuted?
participant.
Okay. Please go on. I will find it.
Yeah. Okay. So Resumer, Paraphrase It, and Quillbot are AI tools for paraphrasing, simplifying, rewriting texts, and they're very good at that because they're specialized for this purpose. Then there's ChatGPT 3.5, 3.5 because that's the free version. And if you're lucky enough to have the paid version, you are probably working with ChatGPT 4, which is even more advanced and more powerful, more up to date. And it's also an incredibly okay, that was me if you heard the ring. But
No. It was a background speech.
okay. So ChatGPT is also an incredibly powerful writing assistant, but it's also good at many other things: conversations, research, summarizing, drafting, and combined with other add-ons, it can do many other things. Then there's Google Bard, which many of you haven't heard of. It's based on a completely different AI model, and that model is called Palm 2. And the difference is that it has real-time access to internet using Google search engine. We'll talk more about this in a bit. And then there's Bing AI. Microsoft introduced the power of ChatGPT 4 into their browser, Microsoft Edge, and they combined it into one. And now you can access it. If you have Microsoft Edge, you can access ChatGPT 4 for free, which is the first pro tip I give you, pro in brackets. Pro tip for today. So one of the things you've learned when they ask you, oh, I've learned how to use ChatGPT for free. There's one of that. You just need Microsoft Edge. But it's not only just ChatGPT that's integrated. It's also DALL-E, image generator, and the Bing search engine. So these are the 6 tools, 3+3. They can save us tons of time and energy writing our program documents, reports, especially social media. They're godsend for social media content. And the one great things about them is that they can use plain language, humor, storytelling. They can invent hashtags for you, insert emojis for you, and they can mimic writing styles of other people as well, while also checking the grammar. So that's a quick overview. And now we're going to mention something that probably some of you want to say, but wait, I know another tool. There's all these other tools, and we know that there are many tools. And here on the right, you can see 100 examples. Here are 100 examples of artificial intelligence tools for all sorts of different applications, for image and text generation, for content moderation, for translation. I know we've been using DeepL. Interact a little bit. I've seen one of the emails we got from the management was using DeepL, sharing with us that they used DeepL to translate a very important document. For education, media, entertainment, so on. These are just 100 examples. Only in the United States, there are over 14,000 AI startups, all of them trying to come up with the next big thing, trying to come up with something unique they can sell you. So there are thousands of tools, but something you should keep in mind is that, first of all, there's paid versus unpaid, and there's usually a catch. If it's free, sometimes it's free for 1-3 attempts, and then you have to subscribe, or there's a character limit, or there's a prompt limit, or there's something, especially for the image generation. Many of the tools are paid. Then there's ease of use. Not all the tools are so easy to jump into as a beginner. Not all of them are applicable for our work. There's that. So we decided to focus on the industry leaders, on the big dogs, as you can say. And there's one important thing I want to share about the large language models. You've probably seen on TikTok and on Instagram posts like, forget ChatGPT, it sucks, try this instead, or try these 10 tools instead. And then they propose something to you. And in most cases, when you see that, it's actually ChatGPT with a mask. It's usually ChatGPT with an add-on. I've tried 10, all of them were ChatGPT. So sometimes even a back version of ChatGPT, like ChatGPT 3. Why should you use a tool based on an older model instead of the original, the real ChatGPT 3.5, which is more advanced, or even 4, which is the latest and greatest. So keep this in mind. This doesn't mean that some of those tools with add-ons are not cool. There are many cool tools. We're just limited in time and opportunity here. We will explore more of them in future. Some of them are really, really cool because they specialized in one specific task. And even if it's based on ChatGPT, it can do some very specific, amazing things. For example, an AI tool, I'm coming up with this right now, that can manage your Twitter account, or X, how it's called now, for you. It can draft, keep an eye on the latest trends, hashtags, keep an eye on the style of writing that you wanted to use. You can feed it examples the way you wanted to handle things. So maybe there's an AI tool for that. And when it's custom, it's very good at that one specific thing. But keep in mind, it's usually ChatGPT, especially if it's LLM. So let's dive straight into each tool, what it is and what it does. I have mentioned Resumer before at our workshops for free and exciting, free communication tools. And I would show things like Canva, Resumer, and so on. We would play with them and we'd see what they do. And what Resumer does is that it can summarize your text. It does it very well. It's been around for years. Even before anyone heard of ChatGPT, there was Resumer, and they said, we are an AI tool and we specialize in this. And it's very good at what it does. It used to be available in only like 3, 4, 5 languages. Now it's available in 14 languages. They expanded. And it's very easy to use. You can see here on the screen of the little laptop a screenshot of me using Resumer. On the left, you can see the original text. And on the right, just with a simple prompt, Resumer, this button, reddish orange button that says Resumer on it. You click on it once and it does a shorter version of your text. And there's a slider on the right. Choose the size of your summary. You can choose how concise you want it to be. It can be 90% of your original text. It can be 50% of your original. I usually leave it on automatic when I use it because it works pretty well. And you can adjust how concise you want to be, but you can also summarize by keywords. You can choose focus on these 2 or 3 keywords. And it has built-in translation by Google, which is really cool and useful. I see 9 things, 10 things in the chat. Arkham, anything there? Interesting questions, comments?
No questions. There are some comments, some recommendations. One question, are there some good programs with editing PDFs? This is less AI and more like online editing. There are, I don't know, Nebo, if you know anything you are using actively.
I've been using I Love PDFs. It's a free online tool, so check that one out. If it's editing, probably they're going to ask for money. If it's converting PDF to image document, vice versa, cutting, combining several PDFs into one, I think that's available in free. But when it comes to like text manipulation, they might ask for subscription. I think Alexander wants to comment on this.
Yeah, I had to use the PDF to edit, And Boisha, you're right. When it comes to editing, most of the software is not free. It's from $5 up to, I don't know, $20, $25. That's some rate. But there is, like you mentioned, I love PDF for some conversions, some simple conversions, something like that. But mostly, if you want to edit PDF, you have to pay for it. That's it. Yeah. I'm sorry for.
Yeah, thank you. So there you go. That's one of the tools. I've heard of another one, but I have to check. And in the post-event email, if I find something, we'll put that in. So that's it about Resumer. If there are no more questions, I'll move to the next tool, which is sort of like a sister tool for Resumer. It's called Paraphrase It. And when you do a resume of a text in Resumer, it gives you an option to change a few words, to paraphrase sentences. And it gives you a link to the sister app, which is called Paraphrase It. It's also very easy to use, also works in 14 languages. I think it's the same developer. But the difference here is that it doesn't summarize, but it helps you rewrite. And it gives you some very, very smart options how to rewrite either a full sentence phrase or sentence or a single word. So it highlights the words it thinks it's important, and when you mouse over them, it gives you some options what to change it with. It's very manual and very granular. It's not just hit one button, so you have to put in some work, but that's not a bad thing. Actually, it's a good thing. You should definitely work on the text once the AI is done with it, and not just copy paste it. So another cool tool. And the third tool is Quillbot. It also rewrites text. It's a competition for Resumer. I was trying to find out who developed it, not who developed it, but what it's based on, but it doesn't say. It's I guess, trade secret. It's not based on ChatGPT. Supposedly it works in over 30 languages, which is more than Resumer. It's also very easy to use. It's good at what it does, summarizing the text, and you can also choose the summary length from short, medium, and long. It doesn't give you a percentage like Resumer, and you can focus on entire paragraphs that you want to change or key sentences, but it's a bit limited in the free version, which I don't like. I think the character limit is 1,200 words, which is not little. It's a decent text, but for comparison, Resumer is not limited by the length of text. So you can put 10 pages easy and then try to do a resume on one of that, which makes it very powerful. But it's good to have options because you never know which tools that is free today might become paid tomorrow. So I decided to put this one in as well. Now, ChatGPT 3.5 developed by OpenAI. And that's the reason why there's so many tools flooding the market. It's because how to explain it? The company value, the company logic is that they should be open sourced. They should be available to the public to use, to adapt. So there are many tools based on ChatGPT. They offer their model. You can download it on your PC and start developing your own tool based on ChatGPT. And OpenAI is also behind one of the image generation software, which is called DALL-E. And if you just Google ChatGPT, it will take you to OpenAI page, and then you can choose to work on ChatGPT specifically. And version 3.5 is free, but it's a little bit limited. It does have multilingual support, but one of the what's the word? Downsides. One of the downsides is that its data set is limited until September 2021. And if you ask it about something from 2022 or 2023, it might not know about it. But you can use it for a lot of things. You can use it to generate ideas, ask questions, use it for writing assistance, like the first three tools we saw. You need to use prompts, of course, to get and refine the results. But I cannot stress this enough. Always double check and polish, because there's this thing called AI hallucination. Have you heard of this term? It's when AI, when it doesn't know the answer to your question, it invents it. And the earlier versions were very assertive and very confident in talking BS. So always make sure to double check if you're doing research. If you're asking it, what are the top priorities for European Union in this new programming period, it will come up with something, but check the sources, check when is the news from, use other tools to get more recent data, and so on, because it will invent stuff. It will pull them from 5, 6, 7 different sites, combine them into one very persuasive sounding answer, but it hallucinates sometimes, especially about news. I've used all the tools trying to get news, trying to improve my daily routine by not going to 10 different news sites, but to get the summary in one place. That's the dream, to get all the news in one place in a neutral, professional, and unbiased form. And at the moment, all of them suck at this. The news are old. It claims they're new. No, they're not. There are inaccuracies. There are bad sources, and I cannot adjust what the sources are. So my advice would be not to use it for news just yet. You can use it for research, but always double check the sources, always double check the results. check the rewrite. Don't just copy paste, but get your hands on there and work on the text. Because at the end of the day, it's you and you alone who knows exactly what you want to stress in the text, what you want to highlight, how you want it to sound, and AI will not be able to replace that feeling, that fine tuning that we can do anytime soon. I think when it starts reading minds, maybe. ChatGPT is well-rounded, but it's slightly limited, as I said, in terms of data set, but also in terms of what it allows you to use for free and what it wants you to pay for. And if you are able to get the paid version, I would do it. We pay for Windows, we pay for Office, we pay for all these other software tools. AI tools should get into the roster, and we should start working with professional tools as well. In the meantime, we have options. So ChatGPT 3.5 is definitely very useful. But then there's another one. It's called Google Bard. And it's exactly the same like ChatGPT in terms of what it claims to be, but it's developed by Google based on their technology, based on their artificial intelligence model. It just became available in Europe mid-July. That's why most of you haven't heard of it. I think 13th of July it became available in Europe. And one of the reasons why it wasn't immediately available in Europe are Europe's data protection policies. So Arca mentioned regulation. Some regulation already exists, as you know. Many regulation exists for data protection, even if it's not AI specific. And Google Bard fell exactly into this category, and there weren't. They didn't want to risk it to launch immediately in Europe with our data protection laws in case they get in trouble and have to pay a billion euros or something. So it wasn't there. Now there's some limits, and I'm sure the Google Bard is not the same in Europe and US, but I have to test this theory because of the data protection rules, how much data it can take from you, from your computer, from your prompts and so on. But now it's here. And if it's here, it's probably more up to our standards that we have in Europe. What makes it different? It has, it doesn't feel as refined as ChatGPT. ChatGPT has been available for longer, and Google Bard is a bit behind, which is shocking because Google is Google. They're huge. They have all the talent in the world, all the money in the world, and they're behind in terms of AI. Bard feels unrefined. It feels like a beta version. It's still very useful for many things, which is why I'll show it to you. I'll show you what it can do. But it's not as good as ChatGPT, especially ChatGPT 4. What's the advantage of Google Bard? Well, it has access to Google search, and that's an incredibly powerful asset to have in AI. Instead of just searching something in Google and asking for a recipe on something, if you ask Bard, it will crawl the web for you, find results from multiple points, and summarize them in one place. And that's the next level search. That's the next level of internet that we've been looking for. And ChatGPT doesn't have it. It's limited. Free version is limited to 2021. Bard is updated. It has access to new content on the internet. But as I mentioned, unreliable for news. Don't use it for that. Test it to see what I'm talking about, but it's unreliable for sure at the moment. You can also generate ideas, ask questions, use it for writing assistance, and so on. A very cool feature in Google Bard is that when you ask it something and it answers, it gives you draft options. So there's draft 1, draft 2, draft 3, like little tabs above the answer. And sometimes draft 2 of the answer is better than the first one. So check out the different variety of options to the answer it gives you, because sometimes there's something very valuable in another draft. But as I mentioned, it still feels unrefined and experimental. I'm sure that Google is really working hard to catch up and to make it better and better. Last but not least, one of the tools that most of you haven't heard of, as I already mentioned, is Bing AI. If you don't know, Bing is the Microsoft version of Google. So Microsoft wants you to say Bing it instead of Google it. They want Bing to be the search engine of the world. And instead of being the search engine of the world, they've been more of a laughing stock, because Bing is not even close to how practical Google usually is. Bing gives you sometimes completely unrelated results to your search questions. It's not as good as Google, in my personal opinion. You might like it. So Bing is part of Microsoft Edge. Most of us use Google Chrome, Opera, and other browsers, not Microsoft Edge. It used to be Internet Explorer, you probably remember. Then it was rebranded because of this bad reputation of Internet Explorer, bad reputation of Bing. And to put Bing forward in the world, to really get ahead of Google, what Microsoft did is they integrated ChatGPT-4 into Bing. And all of a sudden, a lot of people in the world started using Microsoft Edge, myself included. It's integrated, and it's not only that it has ChatGPT-4 and you can chat with it for free. You just open your browser and there's a chat icon. When you started, ChatGPT-4 is there with Bing Microsoft adaptation, of course, a little bit. But it also has DALL-E 2 and Bing search engine. So it takes the advantages of ChatGPT plus the advantages of having access to the search engine, even though it's inferior a little bit, and it combines them into one 3-in-1 tool, which is for free and available for you today. It has, of course, it's not perfect, but it's really, really cool. From my research, it became my favorite. It's my go-to tool if I need an AI assistant, and I keep Edge open always. When I start working, it's part of my routine. I keep it open, and I can chat with it whenever I want. It has multilingual voice interactions. You can ask it questions. You don't have to type in. Bard has the same. And of course, you can use it for all the things that the vanilla ChatGPT 3.5 has, and Bard, which is to generate ideas, ask questions, use it for writing assistance, research, to generate simple images. This is something that the others do not have. If you go to ChatGPT 3.5 and you try to do any image-related work, it cannot do it. It wants to pay money. Here you can do it. Here you can ask Bing AI, hey, can you please generate a draft poster for my Internet Cooperation Day celebration? It's about a day in the nature, sports, make it fun, cheerful, sunlight, rainbows, and it will make something for you. It might not be, it's definitely not going to be as advanced as some of the tools Arkham will show you, but it's something, and it's for free, and it's built in, it's right there. It's great for brainstorming. You can put, if you're trying to develop a logo for a project, I would transfer this knowledge to projects. You need a logo. You can draft some ideas and go with 3, 4, 5 ideas to your designer and say, I have something in mind like this, but I need it professionally made in vector format. It can save you a lot of time brainstorming ideas about graphic design. It works in Microsoft Edge, but we all have it. It comes with Windows, and you need to sign in. Okay, it's one of the things that's caveat. So to show you really, instead of jumping in and out of my presentation and trying to do things on the spot, I decided to take a project story from Interreg, a real project story, run it through all the tools, and then show you what the results are and what the differences are. So that's what I'm going to show you right now. So I used all of these AI tools. I used the same prompts, exactly the same prompts, verbatim on all of them. And I tried to do the following things. First of all, I tried to rewrite and summarize the text. The second task that I gave all the tools that can do it is create 3 relevant social media posts. And the third task, which only Bing can do, but it's still a very cool feature, is to make illustrations to use on social media or to design a logo. And I would like to thank here Hungary-Serbia program for providing me example during one of our storytelling workshops before. So the story is from Hungary-Serbia. It's from a project. The first text you will see right now is unrefined version, and it's on purpose. It was provided. I asked for unrefined from the program, and they gave me this. Project title, Famous Women in Science and Culture, Experience Design through Joint Cultural Tourism Route and product development in Serbia-Hungary cross-border region. I'm going to give you, I don't know, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, just to browse through the text, just to do it, give it a once over. And while you do that, I will take a look at the chat. It's not very exciting, is it? It's a bit long. It reads exactly like a typical project. That's why I chose this example. It really, there's something of value in there. There's something cool that the project is doing. But the text feels like it's been taken straight from the application form and pasted. You've probably seen many brochures like this with super long text, and it feels and reads exactly like this. So the project is about two things. It's about cultural heritage, tourism, and women in science. So they're trying to use locations in Hungary and Serbia where there's a museum, there's an exhibition about Mileva Maric-Einstein. Forgive me for my pronunciation of this. Mansi Bak, Nana Kukovec, and Agota Fischhoff, I assume. And they want to both promote the cultural heritage and tell the stories of these famous women in science and increase the tourism. So that's basically what the project is trying to do. They're using some modern tools like 3D projections and augmented reality. But what worries me is that most people will not read this whole text. They will not read an explanation this long. We need something shorter. We need something that flows better. We need something in a language that is more plain. So the first thing I did is ask Resumer to actually summarize this text. And I gave it I just put the text in. It doesn't have prompts. It doesn't work with prompts. You just put your text on the left and click a button. And this was the first result. You can already see the difference in length. This is the original. This is the summary. And it's AI. Already the result is really, really good. You can read this in 10 seconds. Main objective of the project is to strengthen and diversifying cross-border tourist offer through creation of joint tourism route related to important women in science and culture. You can use the first sentence as the elevator pitch. It needs a little bit of work. It's not perfect, but it's already a great result. And this is in automatic setting. I will not spend too much time. We will not read each text. I just wanted to illustrate before and after with the first tool. Now, with the second tool, as I mentioned, you work not so much on shrinking the text as rephrasing it. It's in the name. So already the tool suggests some improvements which you do not notice on the first read, just like first glance. But if you start reading, you will see that it sounds a little bit better. A word is changed here and there. And that's why I would suggest that you combine, mix and match different tools. If you're a fan of ChatGPT, run it through one of the other ones to see what the result would be, and use bits and pieces of each tool to improve the language, to get it just right. Paraphrase it requires a bit more manual work from you. It requires you to think and decide which word sounds the best, but it's worth it. The text will be improved with a little bit of work. Then there's Quillbot. The result is very similar to Resumer. It did a great job summarizing the text in one paragraph. This is already incredible for me. If I'm making a brochure and I have 50 project summaries, which are 1 page long, I will want them all to be one paragraph long instead of 1 page, with a link to the project website or whatever, where people can find out more. I want key statistics with big font on the page, and I want images. I want pictures from the project. I don't want a 1 page of text. So I would use all these 3 tools on all of the projects. I would, of course, revise and check if everything is correct, if the references are correct. But the result would immediately be much, much, much improved. Now, what happens when you ask Bart to do the same? The prompt is, So here's an example of a prompt. Somebody asked in the chat how to prompt ChatGPT and other tools. It's trial and error, really. There's no magical prompt. There's no one keyword that will give you better results. But the difference between Googling something and talking with an LLM is that with a large language model, and the same is for image generation, you can talk aloud giving the prompts. So instead of just saying, help me rewrite the text, you can say, help me rewrite the text to make it more concise and clear, use plain language, make it 50% of what it is. And you can talk and talk and talk, giving the prompt. It's not just 1 or 2 words, rewrite or do a resume, but you can really give it a lot more instructions that we're used to when we're working with a browser. So my advice would be, when you're working with the prompts, go more into detail. Don't make it just 2 or 3 words. Make it a few sentences, so that the AI can understand really better what you're talking about. And sometimes the first result might not be what you're looking for, like what happened here. I told Bard, help me rewrite this text to make it more concise and clear. And it's not concise and clear at all. It's almost the same text. It is rewritten, but it's not a good result, in my opinion. Vesna raised her hand.
Yes, just wanted to add something regarding writing the prompts, is that I found some advices that being nice and being polite towards the ChatGPT, like, please write me, and it's for example, sometimes crucial to add, like, write like an expert, something, this and that. So
Yes.
I'm following these advices online, so it really helps. It makes a difference. I think that well, I don't know how deep are you going to go into writing prompts, but maybe for the next meeting or so, like, writing prompts, it's really essential. You know exactly what you are saying here. The better you describe, or the wording that you are using, can really it's a game changer. So being nice, like, to a person, it doesn't matter if it's a computer, like, being nice, please, or help me, or whatever nice talk, or just use, like, write like an expert, this and that. So I just wanted to add that. So
write like an expert, or write like a journalist, or write like a high-level official, or CEO of a company. You can give prompts like that. I've heard of this, be nice to your AI, and it's really funny. I found myself doing it even before I heard. And they say it's because I'm a millennial. It's like it's a generational thing on how we interact with software and so on. So it was like, oh, millennials, there are memes and jokes about how millennials talk with AI, and how Gen Z talks with AI. Gen Z is like, give me this and that and blah blah blah. And millennial is like, good morning, Bart. I hope you're nice today. Would you please give me a summary of this text if it doesn't inconvenience? Like, it's funny, but there's something to it. It doesn't hurt to try, please. And maybe
I'm Gen Z. I'm Gen Z,
software.
but I'm using that nice wording. So be nice to AI.
I have a theory. I think that the developers and the companies behind the software want you to, it might be a real thing, that the tone of voice that you're using affects the result. And my theory is, this is just speculation, is that they intentionally do this so that you develop a habit of
being nice,
of attitude towards the brand and product. They want you to develop this friendly, we're buddies, I'm polite to you relationship with the brand. And that's just my theory. It might be the reason why they want you to develop this over the years, so that when you hear Bard or AI, like, oh, how are you? It's like meeting an old friend.
On the other hand, it's also a bit scary to be friends with a robot, and be that close to a robot. But okay, if it's going to help, then better to be nice to them than to be mean, or to rush, too harsh, or something like that. So it's always good to be nice.
Definitely. So if we jump back into the Bard, you can see that the result isn't that great. So what I did, I asked it I refined my prompt. So I asked it again, make it shorter and more clear. And the reply, it felt a bit rude to me. If we're talking about emotion and how it feels, if it's like mimicking a real person, ChatGPT is very polite and professional. Bard, to me, is a bit rude. The way it responds to me is not so nice. So the second prompt I asked it, it was, okay, it felt like it's cursing me because I'm bothering it with asking it to refine the work. And it also gaslights me a little bit when I try I ask it something and I tell it, no, this is old news. And it sort of blames me for putting in a wrong prompt. It said something like, I'm an AI, I'm not perfect. Make sure that you write your prompts well. And it felt a little bit like transferring the blame on me for showing me 10-year-old news like it's from today. And that's something they should be working on. Alexander, you have a comment or a question?
It's more of a comment. It reminds me of Arkham's Missing Missy with the cat.
Missy, yeah, it was exactly Missing Missy. Working
it's
with
like
Bard.
this.
Yeah, definitely Missing Missy. It's like trolling you. It's making fun of you. There's this, for those of you who don't know, there's this funny story about a graphic designer trolling with a client who's kind of rude. And Bard sometimes feels like it's trolling you. But what it came up with is actually a good elevator pitch as well. It really summarizes in 3 sentences what project is about, and that's incredibly valuable thing to be able to do in a second. It summarizes, you know what it is, you can tweet this, it's ready to go. So to finish with Bard, the last thing I asked it is to write 3 very short social media posts about this project. The tone should be in plain language, inviting and enthusiastic. And it did a decent job. So for each post, it gives a headline and a body. Discover the hidden history of women in science and culture in Serbia and Hungary. And then the text continues. A new tourism route will connect important places, museums, and galleries related to lives and works of famous women. Learn more and follow our journey. Incredible. For me, this is a wonderful social media post. It's everything in a tweet. It's everything in a Facebook post. Then there's another one and another one, so you can make a story about it. The second post mentions 3D projections, augmented reality. And the third one is sort of summarizing an invitation. Follow us and get more involved. So this is very useful feature of Google Bard. It's good at writing these social media posts. But here's the thing. Here's the difference. And this is also a note about prompts. Whenever I tried to prompt it to write social media posts about women in science, I would ask it, please write 3 social media posts for promoting a project about women in science and tourism in Serbia and Hungary. And I would explain in a few sentences what I wanted to write social media posts about. The results would be so-so. When I gave it a full text of the project and I asked it, write 3 social media posts about this text, it knows what you're referring to. That's one of the things about LLMs. It did much better job. So these results you're seeing right here, they're this good because I gave it the full text. So I would advise you to do the same. If there's an event you want to promote, give it a full document about, full explanation, a press release about the event, or your draft that you propose to your boss. Give it as much information as possible. The more information you give it, the better result will be about social media. Then I went to ChatGPT 3.5, the free version. The same prompt, help me rewrite this text to make it more concise and clear. And this was the result. And it might not look much better, but if you start really reading the text, it is written a bit better. It's more active voice. It summarizes better. It's just slightly bit shorter, not significantly, just slightly. It's maybe like 90% of the original. And it's not exactly what I was looking for. So I prompted it again. Can you make it much shorter? And unlike Bard, which told me off basically in its response, ChatGPT did a very nice summary. This is exactly what I've been looking for when I started with this text. And this is the second prompt. Remember, first prompt will not always work. Keep working, keep asking, keep telling it to refine. You can ask it, add a little bit of humor to the text, and it will rewrite the same thing with a little bit of humor, which can be very useful. When I asked ChatGPT to write the social media posts, it did even a better job than Bart. So it first it wrote great posts. Second, they sound like they're flowing into each other. So the 3 posts in the previous example felt a bit disconnected. They're like, they could exist on their own, while these 3 feel more like they're part of the same story, part of the same journey. And it included hashtags, which it came up on its own, hashtag women in history, hashtag cultural heritage. Then it did this amazing thing. It didn't use the same hashtags for everything, but for each individual post, it came up with the relevant ones. So the second post, you can see it has hashtag travel with purpose, hashtag heritage tourism, and it includes emojis, which is incredible because you can just copy paste. Basically, you should check and rewrite and make sure that everything is correct before you do so, but it's like 95% there with emojis included. You don't have to wonder, where should I put them? Should I put a rocket ship or no, look at this. They're ready to go. This is really, really cool. And I got really excited when I did this, and it's in the free version. So definitely experiment and work with that. And last but not least, when I asked Bing to rewrite the same text on the first prompt, it did exactly what I wanted it to do. On the first prompt, it was summarized, but not too much. It was not a tweet. It's like the same information, the same value, but shorter and clearer. And I was very happy with this result. And it's because it's based on more advanced version of ChatGPT. It's number 4. It's the latest and greatest. So that worked very well. When I asked it to do social media, it did well. And here's the funny thing. There's something that Microsoft did when they integrated ChatGPT 4 into Bing that doesn't do the cool hashtag thing. Even though it's more advanced version of ChatGPT 3.5 compared to number 4, this one didn't do the hashtag as well as the original vanilla ChatGPT 3.5. But it still did very good job writing social media posts. So we're just going to read one. It says, do you love history, culture, and science? Join us on a journey to discover the amazing women who shaped the cross-border region of Hungary and Serbia. Visit our website to learn more about tourism route and exhibitions, hashtag women in culture and science. And then it used the same hashtag for all 3 posts. And then there's a second and third post. They're very, very good. So this is a really cool feature of language models in AI that you can use. Not only can you research and chat and summarize texts, as you saw, the first 3 tools I showed you are dedicated to summarizing, and they're very good at that one specific task. You can write social media posts. You can write scripts for your videos. You can ask it, based on this project summary, write a script for a short video of duration 30 seconds where I present it in front of journalists, and it will write. It will actually write the words like good morning or whatever. Thank you for coming here. I would like to tell you just a few words about our project. And it will be a script that you can put on a prompt and read in front of camera. So those are just some of the applications. Last but not least, feature of Bing is design a logo. Now, or a poster or any sort of visual in a very simple way. This is very basic image generation, but when I asked it to design a logo for this project, it came up with 4 suggestions, and I don't know about you, but I kind of like all 4 of them. I would take one of these. I really like the last one. The last one feels like a stamp. It feels ancient. It feels historic. There's silhouettes of two women, but you can play with the symbols around them to include like a chemistry beaker and a stethoscope and something else. There's a page of paper. It speaks women and science. I even like the colors. They speak more Hungary than Serbia, but that can be adjusted with the designer. I would take one of these. I would go to the designer and tell him or her, can you please just improve this? you know, and that saves tons of time. You can save 100 hours working on a logo by brainstorming with an AI. ChatGPT 4 if you have the paid one, or Bing. So you have options to design a logo for your project, to design a banner, to design a visual. And a tip here would be, do not try to prompt it like a dedicated image generator tool, like Midjourney or something. If you ask Bing, design for me a logo about women in science, the suggestions will not be very good. But the same advice that I gave you about social media, don't just prompt it, give it the full text, and then ask it to write social media about this. It's the same thing about image generation. Give it a full project description and tell it, design a logo for this, and it will know what this is, and it will come up with something, not always good, but it will give you options, and it can save you tons of time brainstorming, coming up with something to step on and then improve it. So to finish my presentation, I put a few tips in here. AI is here to stay, so we should start working with different tools, testing them, seeing which one work better for different applications. Definitely start doing that. Always check the sources. Make sure to check the sources. Never copy paste the text, but refine it. One of the big news in the industry is that Microsoft is introducing AI assistants to all of its products. So there's this Copilot option, Microsoft 360 apps. There's Microsoft Designer, which is a competitor to Canva, and I put the links in here. It doesn't work everywhere. It's still a beta, but it's one of the things we should keep an eye on as a team. Canva, you've probably heard of, has AI features built in. Now Adobe Express as well. The competition is very, very fierce. So the top applications, top software, be it browser or designer tool or even something like Microsoft PowerPoint, they're all trying to put Google Slides as well. There's an AI assistant in Google Slides, and I put a link to one that I've tested. You can give it a prompt. Prepare a PowerPoint. It's not PowerPoint, it's Google Slides. Prepare a presentation for me on the topic of AI in communication, how it can be used. The presentation should be 10 slides long and include tips and tricks and links to the best tools in the industry. And it will actually make a presentation for you. I tried this, I tested it. It's not perfect. It doesn't look exactly the way I want it to look. It cannot use my template in the free version. It only gives me 3 presentations to make in the free version. So that's why I didn't really put it in here as something to really start with, but you should be aware that it exists and that it's something that we can play with. Most importantly, share tips with colleagues, share the tips and know-how with the projects, and encourage them to start working with AI to improve the quality of their writing, first and foremost, but also the quality of their social media content. And thank you. I'll be happy to answer any questions and to hear your comments. Are any tools to check if it's not copied pictures, text, etc.? I assume that you're talking about to check if where the picture is from. Is that it?
Hello.
Hi.
I would comment that like to check if it is not like copied from some intellectual property product that we can have problems later. For example, this logo, maybe he already used it 10 times to others are using.
So when it comes to images, what I would do is reverse Google search. So I'll share my screen again. I'll exit the presentation if it allows me. Okay. So if you go to Google, there it is. And there's the standard Google search bar, okay? But there's also this option here with the little camera, search by image. It's a very useful tool for this exact use case. When a project would give me something and they would say, oh, this is a picture from a project, and I would doubt because it's too nice, I would search by image. So when you click on this little icon and then you go to upload file, you can choose, okay, my background. It will search the image. And here it is. And you can see all the places the photo has been featured. And there's also an option, find image source. And when you click on find image source, it tries to find out where the image is from. It doesn't work all the time because this image is from Architectural Digest, and it didn't immediately recognize that because it's been used on 1,000 places, okay? And it's hard for it to figure it out. But you will be able, if you see an image from a project like this on 1,000 other places, it's probably not theirs. That's one thing. About copyrighted material, I'm not sure if it's a text. That would take more specific research, and I am not familiar if there's a tool. There's a tool from Orshoya for plagiarism. In case of text, I use smodin.io. Check written text for plagiarism. That's very cool. Thank you for the tip. I'll check it out. Is there an example of AI tool generating infographics to be embedded in the website? I think that, how's it called? There are infographic tools, Canva included, okay. Canva has AI and it can make an infographic for you. From personal experience, infographics are harder to automate. Social media posts, it's easy. Poster, kind of easy. Infographic, harder. So in free tools, I haven't seen one which can do that. I would suggest starting with Canva and see the AI suggestions it gives you to improve your infographic. So that would be my starting point for that. Am I missing a question or something?
No, it's pretty
Can
much.
it create a project video? I don't know. Maybe Arkham knows.
Not yet, not project video, but we will come to that.
There was one, sorry, Arkham, there was one famous experiment where the same way we prompt Midjourney, for example, give me a picture of Arkham riding a horse into battle. There are experiments with the video prompting. You prompt it and it makes a video. I forgot which tool it was, but the famous example that was like viral for a day or two was Will Smith eating a spaghetti. The AI took video content from somewhere of Will Smith and spaghetti, did some wizardry in the algorithm, and created this really weird looking, it felt like more of a nightmare than a real video. So that's the latest progress we've seen, at least in what's available to the public.
It is part of the second, this is a part of the second part of the webinar. We will talk. I mean, video generation tools are very primitive. Don't expect big stuff. Yeah, but it is coming to that. And there are really cool things that you can do. It's developing really fast. I will take the question from Alex and we will go into a break because we are running out of, running late with our time. Yes, Alex, please.
Thank you, Arkham. I will be very fast. One of our esteemed colleagues asked about the plagiarism software, and there is a software that is vastly used by the universities in Europe. It's called Turnitin, but it's paid software,
Yes.
They check the master thesis and what have you not with that. It gives the reference, but there is a downside of it. If you write an author that you quote or the name of the work that you quote, it also is registered as plagiarism, So it's a good tool, but it has its downsides and it's not very cheap. It's quite expensive. So thank you for your time.
Thanks, Alex. I mean, you guys do share your ideas in the chat. We don't have to talk over all of them. You can just say, I know this useful tool. You can put it in the chat and all the colleagues and we can check them. Nebo, do you want to add anything before we go to break?
No, just thank you for coming. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions, ask us by email and here as well. As Arkham said, we're not experts, we're enthusiasts. And I think most people, other than the people who are really developing these tools, are experts. So I hope you found this information useful and let's keep sharing.
Thanks, Nebo. Okay, let's go for a short break until let's go for a proper break until 10 past, okay? 11:10 sharp, please be back. I will start immediately 11:10. Okay, see you soon. Hi again. If you are back, please turn on your camera so I know I'm not talking into the void. Nice, nice. Okay. Thanks, Nebo, for the very inspiring intervention. I will follow your footsteps and start also with a poll to get an idea about what is the mood in the room, who heard about image generation tools and which of them. So there are two questions. How would you rate your knowledge of text-to-image tools? And which of the following generative models sounds familiar?
I love the I'm pro, bro version.
This also acts as a good indicator of how many people are back.
Yeah,
Yeah, 53
very good.
out of 83. Before. $60. I will wait a couple of more seconds. Okay, this is the results. 19% non-existent, 59 overwhelming majority just heard about them, 19% heard and tried them, 3% using them actively. I hope in the last session, these 3%, 2 people out of 63, will share with us what they are using and how. And which of the tools? Midjourney AI, 51%. Yes, that's my favorite. Also, Stable Diffusion, 3%. Well, yeah, it is a Stable Diffusion. It's a tough animal. Dolly, 27%, and others, 40%. Nice. Okay. So you didn't see result. Okay. These are the results. I will stop sharing. Okay. I don't have a PowerPoint because I will be showing you a lot of things hands-on as we go. I do have my notes. I compile them into a PDF to help me with the links and to act as a reminder on where I am. As many of people just heard about these tools, and some of them even didn't hear about them, I would like to start with what excites me a lot to show you rather than to describe you what we are talking about. We are talking about text-to-image generative tools, which means you put a text prompt into a tool, into a platform, and it turns up an image. the most basic definition. There are many different tools. In the end of this session, I hope we will have a better grasp, but I will start with one of them, one of my favorites, which has integrated a lot of different tools. This is what it does. Okay, you put a text prompt and you hit generate, and it generates the image. This is a close-up photo of a coal worker man's face as he works in a coal mine. The man's face is weathered and lined, but his eyes are sharp and determined. The photo is shot in color and it has dramatic, high contrast feel. It is inspired by the work of painter blah blah. Okay, and then it turns with this image. It used Stable Diffusion XL model. Okay, I wanted to start with this before talking about tools because I wanted to show you what we are talking about here. And what we are talking about here is the image generation models. There are three main models that are on the market right now. Google is developing a model called Imagine. It's in beta version. The most popular one is Midjourney, and in my opinion, the best one is Midjourney. It uses Discord platform for prompting and generations. It doesn't have a third-party interface. It's a closed source model. And it's best for photos. And then you have DALL-E, which is created by, as Nebo mentioned, created by OpenAI, which is the creator of ChatGPT. It has third-party interfaces. A lot of different websites are using ChatGPT integrating. Sometimes they, as Nebo mentioned, they use the free version and charge you for you using it. And it's best for various purposes. Then you have Stable Diffusion. This is the open source and the source of many different image generation platforms that you see on the internet today. They will sell you, they will call you XYZ image generation tool, but what they do is they actually use Stable Diffusion. They tweak it a bit, sometimes take it as it is, and sell you as a new image generation model. Third-party interface, yes, a lot of third-party interfaces, and it's pretty good actually that it has third-party interfaces because setting up Stable Diffusion on the local machine is hell of a job. I have recorded a screencast doing it on my own local machine. This will come later. I will send you the link and we will watch it together. Because it's a hell of a job, it crashes the computer, so I couldn't show you on my computer as we go. So this is a general overview, and we will go in detail with each of them, how we are using them. And let's start with Midjourney. Okay. Midjourney uses Discord. If you go to sorry, this is my page. If you go to Midjourney website, here it is. It will tell you that it is working through Discord. If you sign in, okay, this is the my personal page on me. Yeah, so it will take you. It will try to take you to Discord. Discord is a gaming server. It is a server that allows gamers to chat, to share their streams, to collaborate. And it is very convenient for Midjourney because it has many different features. Where you can put the text. It uses the once you sign up to Discord, and once you click on the join beta, you will come to this screen. This is the Midjourney's Discord server, and there are a lot of different channels here, including the descriptive ones where you can train yourself. And they have just changed the interface. These were named differently and they were limited. but because there are enormous number of users, they made more channels here. And this is where people come and prompt to generate images. You can use it on browser and you can use the app. So I just wanted to show you how you the browser version, so you can use it without installing an app. But I will be using the app. So generally, this is the welcoming screen. And if you are not on Midjourney or other servers, this all will look empty. But we are on Midjourney. What we can do is so it works with commands and prompts. The most basic command on Midjourney is imagine. If you click on imagine, if you type in one of these generation channels, that /imagine, the Midjourney bot will allow you to prompt and create the image. But it's a paid platform, okay? So you in order to actually create the image, you will need to be subscribed. We will come to that. But there are a lot of people generating stuff here publicly. It will be too complicated to find our stuff here. So we won't use these common channels. What we will do is we will use our own server. I have my server here. It is pretty full with stuff that I want to show you today. But in order to not overwhelm you with this from the beginning, we will create a new server and I will show you how you can actually work privately with the Midjourney bot on your own server. Okay. Creating quickly a server. I will call it delete server because I will delete this afterwards. Okay. When you create a server, you get a very empty and clean sheet like this. And I put /imagine, nothing appears because this server is lacking something, and that something is the Midjourney bot. You must have the Midjourney bot on your server in order to work with Midjourney. To do that, we go to Midjourney server. I click on any of the messages of the bot's name, and then an option appears, add to server. And I select the server that I want to add Midjourney to. Delete server, yes. Authorize. I am a human. Oh no. Electronic device. This is an electronic device. This is an electronic device. Yes, go to delete server. Yes. So we are here, and the bot has joined our server. Now, if I type /imagine, the bot is here. And I can say people having an online meeting, and it will start generating the image. While it is generating the image, I would like to show you some other stuff. Once you have the bot on your server, you can also directly, you can see the process of generation of the image. You can also directly interact with the bot itself, and you can do it in the direct messages. Here, see, I have been already chatting with the bot directly, and this is useful for quick stuff such as okay, the image is ready. I want to show you, and then we will continue. See, I didn't put any specific thing. Okay, and it simply generated based on what did I prompt? What did I prompt? People having an online meeting. And it generated this. It gave me 4 options. Okay, so I didn't specify if it's a photo, so it didn't create a photo. It created what it thought was the best for illustrating people having online meeting. So it created illustrations, right? and different illustrations actually. So imagine /imagine prompt is the way you create images on Midjourney. Once you do that, Midjourney gives you 4 options. And then it puts all these nice buttons here. What do they mean is upscale. The logic goes 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I ask it to if I want to upscale this image, I click on U3 and it will start upscaling it. Upscaling means it puts it in a higher resolution and higher quality. And then I am able to click on it, open in browser, and it is higher resolution. And then I can save the image to wherever I want. Okay, this is the way it works. And then, as we said, it is a paid platform. In order to sign up, you will need to command subscribe. Once you do like /, you get a lot of different options of commands. We can type subscribe or choose it from the list. You hit enter, and it tells you that it generated a special link for you. You can go there to see your options of subscription. This is my plan. I'm already using this, and I've already used 2 hours, 40 minutes out of 3 hours. Basic plan is $10 a month, standard plan is $30, pro plan is $60. You can see different options here. For us, I think $10 a month is more than enough for the beginners. And last month, in August, I finished all my hours of generation. This month, I still have plenty, so we can generate as much as we want today. But this is it. So you just activate it here, sign up, and once you get rid of your money, you come back to prompting. And then another command is info. When you command info, you can see the details of your plan, your user ID, and your remaining fast hours. So I still have 160 out of 200 minutes, which is great. One more command is ask a question. You can ask anything about image generation here. For example, I have a problem with photographs coming out dark. I will ask, my images always tend to come out dark. How can I improve the quality? Just random question about image generation. So it gives me a link to the question that is already answered somewhere. Sometimes it directly answers to my question in the channel. Sometimes it gives me a link, but that's it. And we are still on delete server. So this is how you create a server. Pretty simple. You can also create kind of subfolders for different purposes. Here, just a text channel for, I don't know, projects, project stock. And then you can do the same things here in order to have everything organized and not dump them into the same place. Okay. But enough of this. We will not work with this server. I have already done all this for my own server. And I have, before this event, I have already put some prompts to work with. And Midjourney doesn't like so much your story style prompting, but it wants everything. It wants exactly what you need to see, separated by commas. If it is a person, if it is outdoors or indoors, what is the camera view, angle. It works better when you do it that way. And what I mean is exactly this. Try to be clear about any context or details that are important to you. Think about the subject. Is it a person, animal, character, location, object? Is it a medium, photo, blah, blah, environment, lighting, color, mood, composition? I will share this, my note sheet with you so you can get even more inspired. These are all from Midjourney website anyway. So, for example, when I prompted photo of one female and one male scientist working on a research in a lab, decorated with plants, bright indoor lighting, intricate details, it gave me this result. We will come to this. These are called dash parameters, and we will come to this. And it generated these images, which look pretty decent to me. But AI has a problem still with the limbs, with the fingers. So if you see from far away, it looks really nice. But once you zoom in, you see that there are problems with the hands. The hands there are sometimes 6 fingers, sometimes 3 fingers. The hands are pretty problematic here. So once you know which one you like, you basically click on that one. So I liked the 4th one here, and I clicked on U4, and it upscaled the image and gave me this image, which is pretty decent. Okay. And it can be imaginative, it can be realistic. So when I prompted just woman made of noodles, I was sitting in a Asian restaurant and I was having noodles, and I had my mobile phone with me. I have Discord also installed there. I was like, wow, okay, these noodles look like like hair. What if I asked the Midjourney to generate an image of woman out of noodles, and it gave me exactly this. So more stuff. And what are these other V options? These are, if I want to create more variations, if I like this one, the first one, and I want to create more variations of this one, I click on V1 and it will create 4 more of this same variation. And I will talk about now the most basic dash parameters. These are very important to determine your image resolution. When you put dash AR, which is aspect ratio, it generates the image in that aspect ratio. Okay. The default image resolution, if I don't put anything like I did here, it is 1:1. It's a square format. But if I do specify the aspect ratio 9:16, it will create a like iPhone or like smartphone format imagery. And if I put the reverse aspect ratio 16:9, which is the widescreen resolution, it will generate this. Okay. So let's see if it generated already the 4 variations that we were looking for. Yes, it did. In the same style, it created the 4 generations. Okay. One more thing I would like to show you is the settings. This gives a lot of ideas also about what the Midjourney can do. When you put the command / settings, it gives you, it allows you to work with the older versions of Midjourney. I don't know why you would do that, but I mean, because the newest version is the best. But there are some things that were working fine and they removed them for efficiency purposes. You can go back. This is for advanced users, okay? The default mode of the Midjourney is fast mode, which is the normal mode actually. Relaxed mode generates images slower. Turbo mode generates images faster, but it uses more GPU power. Therefore, it uses up your hours quicker. Okay. There are other modes here, but they are not super relevant. I just wanted to show you that you can use the settings here. Okay. You can also, I think there is a command called help, and it will give you a bunch of help topics. And Midjourney is really explaining in a very plain language way what you can do. Once if you should check their documentation, most of the things you need are there. And I learned from their own documentation, honestly. Okay, so this is the way you start generating stuff on Midjourney. And there are more examples of what I have been creating here. I've used this for my presentation, for example, using these prompts. It's not very good with the graphics so much. Midjourney is the best for photo generation. Okay, so let's go a bit more in detail. We talked about aspect ratios. The -- no parameter means the negative prompt. As you see from our first generation, I put all these prompts. I determined the aspect ratio, and then I put -- no fantasy, no illustration, no drawing, no bad anatomy, no extra limbs, no distorted. Okay, just to make sure, because if you put photo in the beginning of the prompt, it will generate a photo. But to make sure it is not generating something that is not photo, you can put like, don't give me a drawing, don't give me an illustration, to make a stronger emphasis. And talking about the location of the prompts, I want to show you something else. This is how commas affect the way Midjourney understands and generates your photo. If you put directly photo of a minimalist futuristic transparent car, then comma, forest punk, muted tones, neon, it puts equal emphasis to each word you see here. But if you put photo of a minimalist and then comma, the first location is given the biggest weight in generation. So you will make sure you get a photo and minimalist. So this is not super minimalist, right? This is minimalist. I mean, this is more fancy. So I just wanted to show you that the position of the prompt matters. The position of the words matter. And Midjourney doesn't understand the language as we do. It is trained on certain style. And you will need to learn and understand the way it understands things. And this happens with more practice. The more you practice, the more you understand how to make it create stuff that you would like it to create. So no parameter means that -- no parameter means the stuff that you don't want to appear on the generation. Okay, let's move on. Then we are getting a bit more advanced. There are other parameters, such as chaos. It changes how varied the results will be. Higher values produce more unusual and unexpected generations. And I have already generated a few, because if I prompted and tried to show you everything here, it would take a lot of time. So I pre-generated a lot of stuff here. Okay, so to show you the chaos parameter, I put photo, 2 European women shaking hands, true border fence, smiling, sunny midday, green lush background, intricate details, 4K. Okay, this is my prompt. And then I put -- parameters, aspect ratio 16:9. Chaos value is 15. What did we say? What is the default chaos value? The default chaos value is 0. So if you don't put the chaos value in the prompt, it will directly create. Nebo, do we have any questions or something?
Yes, there's a question about how much time does it take to get an image that you want from idea to result?
A minute?
Yes, it really depends.
A minute. I mean, if you consider the process of the writing the prompt, the thinking time, I mean, we cannot measure it. It depends on what you are thinking about. But once you have the prompt, it's all about what you would like to do. For example, now we are seeing this chaos parameter. Are you going to use chaos parameter? Are you going to use stylized parameter or other kind of parameters? So it depends. But the most basic thing without big expectations is 1 minute, 2 minutes. Once you have the prompt ready, you put it there and it generates. But then you want to fine tune it, we will come to that. So default chaos value is 0, and I put 50 chaos value. And as you see, when I don't put a chaos value, the images, the 4 images that are generated are pretty similar, right? But when you put the chaos value, 4 images are pretty different than each other. Okay, so it did generate 2, but again, look at the limbs. It's scary. So I mean, it looks natural from far away because Midjourney really nicely polishes it. But when you zoom in, you see these kind of problems. Okay. So then I tried the same with less chaos value, exactly same prompt with chaos value of 10, and then it generated rather similar results. Okay, like the scenery is similar. And then I wanted to go up because maximum chaos value is 100. I wanted to use 80, and then it generated this. Chaos value is telling the Midjourney bot how much to stick to the prompt and how much to be imaginative. The less the value, the more it will stick to the prompt. The higher the chaos value, the more Midjourney will say, okay, I have freedom to define what I want. And it created this. Many of the things that we prompted here are not here. For example, here I only see shaking hands. No women, barely there is a fans, smiling, no face. Okay, midday is there, green lush background is there. But yeah, so the bot did the rest. And actually, I really like, the AI got imaginative and I love what it did. I could easily use this for my cross-border program, honestly. And going forward, this is a bit advanced. I will show you this later. Okay, let's move on. Then you have something called stylize, and it is similar to chaos, but it is not the same as chaos. The bot is trained with certain specific styles by the trainers, and with stylize, you are telling the bot to use that training data. What is the default value? Let's check again. Default value is 100, and it changes between 0 to 1000. Okay, so when I prompt only women playing football without any stylizing, it generates this image. Okay, this is what it generates. And then this is the stylized parameter. I put stylize 1, and it creates this one, uses some of the styles that it trained on. When I put stylize 950 to go to extreme, it comes up with more options like this. This is styles. You can play around with them, find out more. Then there is another parameter called weird. Weird is just telling Midjourney to be not only imaginative, but also surrealistic, let's say. Surrealistic, that's the word. And the weird parameters, it ranges from 0 to 3000. And what is the default? The default value is 0. Okay, it's 0 weird is the default value. And so I prompted Charlie Chaplin sitting on a park bench, weird 0, which is the default value, okay? And it generated these images, right? Okay, Charlie Chaplin. Because it is Charlie Chaplin, the bot says it should be black and white. These are, yeah. These are in the Charlie Chaplin sitting on a park bench. And then I did the same with the weird value of 1000, which is still below 3000. And then it created this stuff. Okay, there's no park bench. It's also like it is weird. What it generated is weird. And then I went up to 3000 and it generated these ones. Okay. Is it even Charlie Chaplin? Okay. This is what the weird parameter does. Okay, so let's come back to something more realistic stuff that we can actually use in our daily prompting. View angles is an issue in image generation. If you don't put any view angle, the AI will generate any angle it wants. So I generated this prompt and I use it for different view angles. Okay, photo, young man in cool denim outfit, standing, sunglasses, outdoor, natural lighting, sunny day, worm's eye view. This I wanted to ensure there is a bottom-up shot camera angle. And for that, I used worm's eye view. And it indeed gave me from bottom to top shot of this young man. Right? And I negative prompted no sci-fi because AI tends to give me sci-fi results. I don't like it. I want to be realistic. I want to use it for my work. No fantasy, no illustration, drawing, bad anatomy, ugly. I don't want this, okay? But I had a problem with this image. I said standing, right, somewhere. I said standing. Yes, the man may be standing, but I don't see him standing. So to ensure that, I put young man standing, full body shot, sneaker shoes. This is my kind of trick to make sure that it shows me the feet, okay? I put the sneaker shoes, and then the rest is basically the same with worm's eye view. And then it generated this image, these 4 options. As you see, it is pretty realistic. It is very difficult to distinguish from a real photograph. And even the limbs are decent here. Here it did the trick again. This one also pretty realistic. So this is the worm's eye view, if you want from bottom to top shot. And this is, I put everything the same. I won't read it again. This is bird's eye view. If you want a shot from up to down. You see, we didn't determine what is on the floor and it just puts random stuff. So it takes the sneaker as a main word. It thinks maybe I am going to use it for some promotion purposes. Okay, so there's the limbs, always problem. You see, this is not logical. This is pretty decent. And this one as well. And then what I did was, okay, I don't want a bird's eye view, worm's eye view, or bird's eye view. I want a side view, and it gave me these ones. These are indeed side views, even though the head is not there. Okay, so the head is not there, right? And I really like this photo, but the head is not there. What can I do? I'm gonna upscale the second image. Okay, this is the second from row. And when it upscaled it, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna generate the rest of the image. It is called outpainting in text to image. Outpainting. Outpainting is when you ask the AI to generate the rest of the sides, and inpainting is when you ask the AI to regenerate certain areas that you select. Right now, let's do the outpainting. On Midjourney, it's called zoom out. Let's zoom out this. And I could use custom zoom and prompt and tell the AI what to generate in the sides, or I could rely on its own imagination and going by the logic. What could it be? Like there is a structure here. It will generate the rest of the structure, rest of the tree, and hopefully rest of the head. And it is generating. Okay. While it is generating, I want to talk about still the view angles. So I discovered that overhead view and bird's eye view are actually doing pretty much the same thing. See, this is overhead view, and it did the same thing. Yeah, the same, at least the same viewpoint. So it did generate the outpainted images. Well, yeah. Okay, it looks a bit distorted, the face. This guy looks a bit unhappy with his life. He's also pretty surprised with his life. Okay, it's a bit problematic, but it did generate the rest of the head. Okay, usually it is better in these limbs and face and anatomy with the original front rather than these complementary variations. All right. Do we have other viewpoints? Overhead view we talked about. If you want, like, again, full body shot and connection with the background, you can use distant shot. Okay. And it will generate this. It's not very distant, honestly, but it does at least give the full body view. Okay. Actually, I forgot to put one of my favorite views, which is close up. Okay. And again, we have to put this prompt. I keep forgetting to put /imagine. Photo. I want to emphasize that the camera angle is important. So I'm going to put it in the beginning, okay? And I'm going to say close up photo. Okay, close up photo. I think this is the way it's written in English. I'm not sure. And I will hit generate. And I will hope it will create. I want to see what's going on in the chats. Meanwhile, yeah.
No, don't worry. I'm keeping an eye out if there's a question.
Okay, great. No, thanks. So because I'm hiding this meeting controls thing,
Yeah,
which
there's
annoys,
a question.
it annoys me so much when I'm presenting things.
Of course. There's a question from
Yeah.
Vesna. Have you used Midjourney for a real social media post for Interact? Yes.
Yes, I did actually.
We always revise them. So it would be interesting to see if you can detect which ones. I think we rework them enough that you will not be able to tell the difference, because we just use AI for an idea, and then we edit, we put our touch on it.
Mm-hmm. So it did consider for at least the two of the variations.
Sorry, you asked Midjourney. I was talking about ChatGPT and writing that for Midjourney, Arkham.
Honestly, I used, because I'm subscribed to full accounts since the beginning of August. I only used it to promote the webinar, but I see a lot of potential in using for many different purposes. And I actually used it for today's presentation. All the images you saw in the introduction presentation were generated by Midjourney. So it did consider the close-up prompt for these two. And because there was sneakers, it put emphasis on sneakers and denim and outdoor and sunny natural lighting. Pretty good. Okay. There are many other guys. What I'm showing you today is what I think are really introduction to the whole world, to the whole prompting world. There are a lot of different kind of views. For example, you can find and try them. Satellite view, or there is something called knuckling. I will show you later the examples. There are really a bunch of different
Oui, je
videos.
dis Laura. C'était comment pour publier une news?
Nebo, can you? Okay, thanks.
Done.
Then we have the cameras. Honestly, I didn't have time to try on different cameras. The Midjourney will create an image based on the camera and lens type that you give it to. For example, this one is with Nikon D850. Okay. And it does give this professional photo feeling, right? And ideally, I was going to put different kind of cameras and what they do, but I didn't have time for that. So you can try it yourselves. Please, Vesna.
Yes, relate to that. Well, actually, one has to be then really knowing these terms, like as you said, like Nikon D850, because if you are not aware of these terms, then, well, for example, this warm or side view or warm eye view, you know, if people don't know these terms, then it's going to be a bit difficult. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So this is one of the things I realized while studying, researching these generative tools. It really increased my knowledge of different things as a communicator. Art styles, photo angles, photo cameras, different artists' names. It's a good training for us communicators. So talking of that, let's talk about art styles. And you will agree, if you didn't agree with Vesna, you will agree now, because there are so many different art styles that you can do. So I work with a prompt: photo, hot by the lake, surrounded by mountains and greenery, serene feeling, summer day, aspect ratio 16:9, no parameters, no snow, no bad weather. Okay, this is my simple plain prompt when I just prompt it with photo, and this is what it generates. Okay, this is what it generates, and then I take it and try it with different art styles. And it is not limited to this. It creates pretty much every art style that you can find online. So I put in the beginning, just to give a stronger emphasis on the art style, I put on the beginning, everything else is the same, okay? So I replace photo with oil painting here, and then similar kind of scenery with oil painting. This is the result.
Arkham, there's a question about the format. Do they come out in PNG, JPEG, or is there an option to export in RAW format?
It's PNG. RAW format meaning like vector?
I assume the question is from Luca.
No, it's a photographic format. It's like the negatives that you get from the film camera. It's a professional format that you can edit as you wish, for example, with Photoshop.
There are tricks. There are tricks. You can like trace the image and turn it into vector and then edit. Photoshop, yes, with Photoshop, you can work with any photo on the Photoshop.
Yeah, but that raw is nothing to do with vectors.
Sorry?
The raw format has nothing to do with the professional format used for digital photos.
Okay. To shorten reply, it only generates PNG format.
Okay.
And whatever you can normally do with the PNG, you can do with this PNG.
You can turn, but you don't get the raw. Okay.
No. Okay.
Thank you.
There's also a question, can you feed your images as a source?
Feed?
Can you feed? Can you like give some image examples?
Yeah, exactly. We will come to that. It's advanced prompting. We'll come to that. Good question. So this is the oil paint, and then blue pen drawing, another art style, and then it draws this. Okay. With the same prompt. And if I put pyrogravure, it creates this style. Cyberpunk, because cyberpunk is futuristic, it puts some futuristic, surrealistic stuff. Fauvism. For example, to reinforce what Vesna mentioned, Fauvism. I didn't know what Fauvism is. Apparently it is this, okay? Because I was searching like art styles and I came across this and I wanted to try it here. Latte art. Puts coffee. Okay. Charcoal, another art style. Creates these kind of images. Art brut. This is also something I learned new, honestly, frankly. I like it. It's pretty nice art style. I mean, if you are into art, I'm sure you will prompt it in a lot more creative ways than I did. Rotoscope animation creates images of this kind. I mean, if you ask a person who is not very artsy, like me, they will call all of this cartoon, but they all have their own specific styles and name. So Pixar, you can also do like Pixar, as if it was generated by Pixar. And it will generate this. Street art creates these results. Okay, so this is about art styles. And then artists. It is mind-blowing. It's if some artist's work is on the internet, it imitates it. This is both great but also scary because artists are putting a lot of their time and effort and money into their work, and we just basically can generate this. You can try with different modern artists. I just want to show you the difference between the different art styles. I took some popular artists. For example, Happy People. For this part, we will use the same prompt, Happy People by different artists. Happy People by Picasso. Turns out this result.
It's a Chaos 3000.
Right. Happy People by Van Gogh creates this result. Happy People by Michelangelo. I mean, it knows Michelangelo is a sculptor, so also creates some sculptures, but also paintings. By Claude Monet, which does look like Claude Monet art. And by Frida Kahlo, she's a Mexican painter, and indeed looks like her work. And of course, as we are in Vienna, I couldn't skip Gustav Klimt.
Yeah. Some styles are really good and some styles are so-so, but some styles are really, really good.
You know, the so-so ones, you just have to reprompt. Midjourney is amazing. It will come up with some results that you like. And then I have a friend who is a photographer. I wanted to see if it does generate images in his style because he's not super famous. And it did. You know what is more cool? What I did with this? So I upscaled this first image. I wanted to show you later, but I will show you now. I upscaled this image, okay? And then I took it to another tool. Just small break to Midjourney. I took it to a guy called Pika. And this Pika is a video generation tool. You put the image, okay? You say animate. This is the prompt you use. And you can upload images, okay? Let me find another image. Let me use this one, okay? And I will ask it to animate. So I took that image and I put it here and it animated it. Not very realistic, but I mean, these tools are really new, but it's getting there. I think it's doing a decent job. I did same that this photo is generated by Midjourney. I upscaled it and I brought it here and I asked it to animate, and this was a lot more realistic. Look at this. Look at the hair, the eyes. Love it. And let's it's generating. Okay, we will come back to this later. Okay, let's go back to our server and continue with our work. This was about the artists. And Midjourney has a feature called video. Don't get it wrong. It doesn't generate videos. It just shows you the process of generating the image. You just prompt it, okay? You prompt, for example, define Superman portrait video with this parameter, okay? With the dash parameter video. And once it generates, you upscale it and you put an envelope emoji. You react to it with an envelope emoji. And because you use the video parameter, it will send you a private message in which this image generation process is animated. I did the same with the European flag, and it did send me private messages. By the way, it's done, but we'll come back to that. It sent me private messages in which these are animated. Okay? And if I try to play it here, it won't, because it sent me to a link. It says video is available here. It will be deleted 30 days after creation. And I go to that site and I animate it. This is a pretty cool GIF, for example, that we can use in our posts. And don't try to count the stars. I counted them. There are 12. It got the stars and the flag right. Pretty cool. Right, so let's go back. This was about the video. We have the blend command. We have the blend command. And someone asked if we can upload things. Yes, we can upload things. We can upload things and we can ask Midjourney to blend them, okay? So what I did, I prompted empty rod aspect ratio, okay? And it gave me this result. And then I scaled this one. So I took this image, okay? And then I said red car aspect ratio. And I upscaled this image. So I got these two images, right? And then I basically save them to my computer in this folder. There are two here, right? And I use blend command. This is not a parameter, this is a command which you start with slash and you say blend, and it tells you to upload these images. I go to my images, I uploaded them. I already did this, okay? So I'm not gonna do this again. Once I uploaded them, you can upload up to 5 images and ask it to blend. And it did generate these results. So it took the road and it took the car and blended them. And it even, see, the car that I upscaled is side view, right? It even figures out the front view of that car and puts it onto the road. I think it's pretty cool. Okay. Tile. The tile parameter helps you. The tile parameter helps you create repetitive patterns. What I mean is, let's say, imagine colorful fishes and dash tile. And let's set the aspect ratio to, yeah, 16:9, why not? Okay, and let's hit generate. While it does it, let me see if I have been missing something.
While it's thinking, there's a question about Midjourney. Does Midjourney also block real persons? Like you cannot use Joe Biden on a picture?
No, it doesn't.
Bing does.
Bing does? Okay. Okay, let's see. While I'll explain this, let it generate the image of Joe Biden. Photo of Joe Biden. The person who asked it, what do you want Joe Biden to do? Photo of Joe Biden keeping awake or something?
No, I just tried to fund that the European flag in the wind and Joe Biden standing next to this, and I got blocked. So I lost some credit points or something. Yeah, so it was obviously in contradiction with terms of whatever that I didn't read. I just confirmed. So
okay. So I'm gonna go like photo. You know Putin's famous riding the horse. I'm gonna make Joe Biden to ride a bear. Riding a bear. Outdoor, realistic. What else? Okay, that's enough. Okay, while it generates that one, I want to explain what I did here. Tile means that these images create a continuous pattern. Okay, let's upscale this first one and we will see better what I mean. So this one, okay, it generated. See, this is a tail, this is the head of the same fish. This is the red and yellow fish, the head is here. And from upper side, you have this fish here, the continuation here. So if you put this image, multiply it and put side by side or on top of each other, it will create a continuous pattern, repeated patterns. Okay, so Helena, here is your dream picture of, yeah, it doesn't look like, it looks more like John McCain. It's more like Joe Biden riding a bear. Here too, it's more like unified with the bear. See also the animal limbs, doesn't get it quite right. It also does look like Joe Biden. So it does. I mean, this is the, I don't know, kind of one of the concerns with name rights, you know, you cannot put my photo on here and there, thing, privacy, and rightly so, rightly so. And the developers, as I understand, they're also very sensitive about these kind of things. They're trying to find the middle ground to how to keep being creative, but also respecting these kind of rules. Do we have any, Nebo, any question or something? Because I blocked the meeting controls.
No worries, just comments and they're good, so you can continue.
Nice. Okay, so let me see what else can do. What do we have here? I showed you. So I prompted this close-up portrait of a girl, blah, 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 blah. I upscaled this one, okay, which is U3. And I zoom, because it was just this here head. I wanted to see the rest of the face. I clicked on zoom out and it generated this. I upscaled this one and I animated it. Okay. We talked about blend commands. Seed, I will come to seed later. Okay, because this is a very common concept for all generative models and it's important. I'll come back to this later. And okay, let's talk about a bit reverse engineering with Midjourney. It doesn't only generate images, but it also helps you describe images. What do I mean with it? Let's say, okay, there are so many tabs open. And this is like a hack tip. Let's search for wind turbine photo, okay? Because we have a project about renewable energy photo. No, this is not that complicated. Let's find something else. Any ideas from the audience? Otherwise, I will go with the wind turbine. A local celebration event. Let's see. Nice. This looks like our European Cooperation Day events, right? So I'm gonna okay, I'm gonna just save it from here. Yeah, it can save as JPEG. I'm gonna put it here, describe, okay? And then I'm gonna use the command describe, okay? It will ask me to upload an image. And I'll go to that photo. Okay, and I will hit enter. And it will analyze the image and it will describe me. And this is very helpful to see how Midjourney understands photos. What is the language it understands it with. So it gave me 4 descriptions. 1, the street food festival has brought the market to Polymorph Town Square this Tuesday in the style of brushstroke fields, celebration of rural life, grit, Bloomsbury group, dark brown and green, selective focus, organic, aspect ratio 3:2. Amazing, right? It just described whatever that is on the photo. And it has made other descriptions, but we don't have time to read all of them. I like the first description, right? So I'm going to ask it to regenerate based on the first description. I can't change anything. It prompts me. I can change things that I want, if exclude or include things. And I will say submit, okay? And it will start generating. While it is generating, I would like to see what else I will talk about.
Arkham, sorry.
Yes, please.
Can you repeat how you came to this that it shows the prompt that it used, because I kind of missed it, but it's super helpful because we can learn from it how to prompt in the right way.
Yeah.
The steps.
Okay. Yes. You use the command / describe, okay, tab, then it prompts you to upload an image, okay. I will upload this image this time with solar panel, okay, and I will hit enter. That's it. Then it will describe me. Okay, so based on this image, we regenerated the similar scenery, and it looks better than the original. You can easily use
it looks better than original, really.
Right. In Nebo, we could easily use this to promote Cooperation Day, and we don't need to ask these ladies, these guys, permission.
Yeah, they don't exist.
They don't exist. They are generated by the computer.
I would use the last one because people are out of focus, but food is.
Yeah, absolutely. Artistic, pretty artistic too, right?
Yeah.
So for Vesna, we did this again. A man is building solar panels on a roof in the style of light emerald, blah, 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 blah. I will not go into all. So I will just ask it to regenerate this, okay? I will show you one more thing in Midjourney, and we can then break because it took slightly more time than I thought it would. And I would recommend you to subscribe to Midjourney, guys. Get the basic plan, $10 a month. It's 2 beers, 2 coffees, 1 sandwich. At least in Western Europe. Okay, and you get a lifetime valuable skill by trying this. And you can basically upload any image and ask it to describe you, and you will learn so much. I am learning as we speak that in the style of light emerald and dark blue. Nice. Okay, so I got this. Huh? Next time maybe I will use this style in my own generations.
Also, number one, RTX on. RTX comes from gaming industry, and it's an abbreviation meaning ray tracing. And what it does in games, it's a technology that improves the quality of light and how light bounces off all sorts of textures and surfaces. So when you put a prompt here, RTX on, it does a better job with light reflections.
Okay, one maybe 2 more things to show you, and then we will move on. One is yes, this describe option, and actually to answer the question about can we upload and work with the images more clearly, yes, we can. And I do have one here of myself. What you do is okay, so I say okay, slash upload. No, what was the prompt for this? No, I forgot how we upload, but in the end, doesn't matter, okay? Doesn't matter. You need this URL, okay? Any image on the web, doesn't have to be uploaded to Midjourney server. So you take this image URL and you go to here and you say imagine, and you put the image in the very beginning, and then you can do whatever you want with it. Okay. Nebo, what was the prompt of you riding this horse?
It was I'm not sure because a friend did it for me, but it was a young man in a uniform, white uniform with gold ornaments, artistic.
Okay, like let's go a bit simple. Okay, like turn this into a cartoon, okay?
Arkham, maybe put it in Napoleonic style, like Napoleon.
Yeah. How about no? So guys, it turns it into its own link and then starts working with it.
It says waiting to start.
Yeah, yeah, it's about servers.
Oh, okay.
Let's see what else we have. We have the zoom out. Meanwhile, I would like to show you, we'll come back to this, okay? The privates, let's not forget where we were doing this. I want to pick one of our generations that we did today. Okay. I want to maybe use Nebo's favorites. And no, this okay, I will use this one, okay? Image tree. I'm going to upscale this image tree. Okay. Then I showed you the out painting, right? It was the zoom out tool. Then there is something called in painting, which is basically you can include or exclude things from the image. To do that, you click on vary region, vary, and you can either select in square, okay? Oh, sorry, I click on escape, vary region, either in square, or you can select exactly what you would like to work with. Okay, I'm taking this lady here, and I'm gonna ask it to regenerate that part. And it will generate. Let's go to private. Okay, there is some issue. It is stuck somewhere. Stop generating images for us for some reason.
Maybe you reached the limit.
No, I don't think so. So, guys, this is the lady we wanted to get rid of, right? And we did. But AI became very imaginative, not very imaginative. It imagined its own person here, still put a female figure here. Okay, so this you can do with the in painting tool. See the private. Okay, it's not starting. We will come back to it later. Okay, it's 12:30. Our webinar will end in 1 hour. So let's break. And let's break. And when you come back, we will start with a video screencast. Okay, because I think that watching that screencast is important. Okay, but for now, I stop sharing. Just is it, I know there are a lot, there's a lot. It may be a bit overwhelming, but in general, did you get the idea of using Discord to generate images with Midjourney? Is this idea clear? So all you have to do is get a Discord account, sign up to Discord, log in, make sure you are in the server, Midjourney server. Make sure you invite the bot to your server and just /imagine. The rest is history. Okay. If anything is unclear, let's break for 10 minutes this time. 40 past sharp, let's be back. And if you have any questions, think about it and you can ask me, and then we will move on to the video. Thanks a lot. Okay, if you're back, we can continue. For those who are back, I wanna show you what it did with my image. So I uploaded my image, right? I want to try again. Maybe there was some glitch because usually uploads would work. Interesting. Okay. So I asked it to turn me into a cartoon. I did before to turn me into a cowboy. Doesn't look like me, honestly. I don't look like this. But it took my style at least. And when I asked it to turn me into a cartoon, it created this. This resembles me slightly, but no, it's not me. But yeah, this is what it did. So I just wanted to show you the result. In the end, it worked. And quick questions, if you have any, up to 2. And then we will move on with something else. So, no questions. Great.
Sorry.
Yeah, Vasna?
About the seed, you mentioned that we're going to go back for the seed. The seed.
Or what?
Seed tool. Seed.
Seeds.
Yes.
Let's come to it after this video. It's more because it is cross-platform, cross-model phenomenon, and it is relevant not only for Midjourney but also for Stable Diffusion. Speaking of which, I will now share a screencast with you that I recorded 2 days ago, because it's a bit complicated. First of all, there is too much. I had to shrink it for the most relevant. When you watch it, please try to grasp the process rather than the image generated. Okay, this is to give you an idea about how the architecture behind text-to-image tools work. It is enormous. It is gigantic, and using Discord, I was thinking, okay, just Midjourney doesn't have a user-friendly interface because you have to go to Discord. You don't have a web page where you can simply put the prompts. No, after studying the architecture, I noticed that Midjourney is actually doing a great job. It's very simple platform. It took a very simple route to allow us generate. And okay, let's watch it together. I will share a YouTube link where you can watch it from. Nebo, do you have it ready? Maybe you can paste it, or
Not yet.
okay, I have it. I have it here.
Okay, better, faster.
So you can mute Zoom for 17 minutes, watch this and come back, or you can watch together with us because I will share screen. I will make sure it is included in the recording, okay? So please watch this carefully and try to understand the process as much as you can, okay? And then we come back here for questions and for further proceedings. Let's go. Hello again, everybody. From the past, from 2 days ago, it is Monday evening, basically night. I'm recording this screencast, and why I'm recording it and not showing you live, because of 2 reasons. One is the computing power, and as you see on my screen, these are the specifications on my gaming laptop, NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3080, which was the best laptop GPU just 1.5 years ago. But even that is barely enough GPU power for what we are going to do today. Right now, for running the Stable Diffusion interfaces. The recommended GPU series are RTX 40 series, which came out this year, basically. So I am expecting my computer, even though it's a pretty good one, to fry a few times in the process. So I will have to restart the computer. And the second reason is the waiting time, of course. When we set up everything and hit generate an image, it will take time, sometimes 20 seconds, sometimes 40 seconds, depending on how complicated setup we have. And I don't want to keep you waiting, honestly. So if you're ready, let's go. What you do first is you click on the start, go open the MS Paint, and you want to generate a profile of a person. Make a circle, and then you make a line, then you make sure to make 4 more lines to give the links, and then don't forget the face. You can even fill in with the color. So there you go, completely free and offline image generated. Okay, if you are appalled by my sense of humor, I have reached my objective and we can get down to serious business. So there are 2 very popular interfaces for using Stable Diffusion. Basically, Stable Diffusion is an open source model, but what you get when you search for Stable Diffusion SDXL model and refiner, you get a large file with safe tensors extension. It doesn't do anything. It's not a software. It's just the training data. It's done there. But there you need a software. You need an interface to decode what is in there, and you need a software to allow you to put the prompts and to decode. So Automatic 111, I tried to install it to my computer. It was too complicated. It required a lot more computing power. So in the end, I decided not to do it. But luckily, there is an alternative. It's called Confi UI. And to install it, you just have to Google Confi UI GitHub. And from GitHub website, you can download it. And all the instructions you need about downloading it and installing it are here. Just scroll down to, there are a lot of cool information about what's many terms in this environment mean here, the terminology. You just scroll down to directly into download. And so when the download finishes and when you unzip the package, this is what you get in this models folder. There are a bunch of subfolders here. Not all of them are super important. You don't need to download stuff for each of them, but there are 3 important ones. Okay, one actually. The most important is the checkpoints. So you put the SDXL file into here. And once you put it there, you are pretty much ready to generate images. But for better results, you need to fill in this folder, checkpoints, and LoRa's folder, and VAE. Checkpoints is the actual trained model, okay? And LoRa is short for low rank adaptation. And it is basically, it polishes the image that you generate. And VEA is necessary for decoding in the end. And I already also have these downloaded, okay? Now I'm gonna put all of them in the respective folders. So we have all the model files in their places. As you see, they have the safe tensors extension. Okay, can delete this one. And I have my favorites here. I have downloaded and tried different models, but my favorites are basically the base version of SDXL and the refiner and the Dream Shaper. This is an old version. ComfyUI needs it to run the software. And for LoRa's, I have a couple of them, but my favorites are Photorealistic and MyMerge. And VAA is, I have only one, and that's good enough. And then once you have done this you run the ComfyUI, and it opens a command window, and it opens a browser. My default browser is Opera, so it opens in Opera, and you get notes like this. It may look daunting in the beginning, but it's actually pretty simple. What it does is, as I explained, it takes the checkpoint. This interface helps all those files to be extracted and to be worked with. So it takes the checkpoint and it takes the prompt, positive prompt, negative prompt, and it defines the image resolution. And it uses a sampler to infuse all these together, and in the end a VAE decoder to create the image. Okay, this is the most basic workflow to generate images using ComfyUI and Stable Diffusion. Let's choose here what we would like to use. I would like to start with SDXL base. Okay, and I have a prompt ready already here. A beautiful black horse running on lush green grass. Photo, 4K, realistic, intricate details. Okay, I will use for every generation that I will do in this video the same prompt. Okay, to also allow us to compare the generations. Now I take this, I paste this into the positive prompt screen. Because this is the default workflow, the nodes are not named, but basically this is the positive prompt and this is the negative prompt. Okay, and I would like to do something more higher quality. And I think I'm ready to go. Let's not wait more and generate it. So as you see, it goes through this workflow. It takes the prompt, it goes to the checkpoint, asks the checkpoint, and comes back to the prompt and defines the resolution and goes up to the sampler. It will now send it to the decode and generate the image here. Right, so our image is ready. And this is what it generated as a photo. Okay, this is what it generated in the base model. But this is too basic, and there are some problems with the feet of the horse, even though it looks pretty beautiful and realistic and artistic as well. There are some problems, so we would like to overcome these problems. For that, to do that, we will work with more complicated workflows. I don't think we have the time to simply regenerate a workflow using all these buttons here with load checkpoint and make the connections here and here. You know, like it's a long, complicated process, and honestly, we don't need to. We don't need to know all of this. There are ready-made workflows which I already downloaded. See, this is my workflow folder. And it can go from basic, which we just used, all the way to this. It's gigantic. There are so many processes running in the background. You put the prompt. I can't even find where you put the prompt. It's so complicated, but there's a logic behind, okay? It uses all these additional model files to do more stuff for upscaling, for refining, for polishing. Each requires different algorithm and workflow. But and these red parts, they're red because basically I don't have these files in the respective folders in my Comfy UI folder. But we're not doing this today, and we don't need to know. Just to show you how far it can go, I wanted to show you this workflow. My favorite workflow is this one, SDXL base with refiner and LoRa. Okay, so this is the one, but I have refined this even further to make it more visually friendly. And one good thing about Comfy UI is you can simply, if you have generated image, this is my output folder, what I have generated before. This is what we have just generated. And this is what I was trying before starting recording. And for example, I will take this image, okay? And I will just drag it into Comfy UI. It will just load the exact workflow I created it with, including the prompts. So I just prompted Vienna in winter, and I negative prompted these words, and it generated that image that you saw. So this is my favorite workflow because it has everything. It has the base model loader. It has the refiner loader. It has the LoRa loader, and it's all nicely connected to the samplers. They're all. And it also has a VAE loader that is a decent VAE decoder. And I just put the prompt here and I see the image here. So I'm gonna, this time, I'm gonna again use the SDXL base, okay? But use the refiner for the SDXL base and use the same prompts to see how the result will differ from what we have just seen. So it started, and it will go through all these processes and come back here, the generated image. So our image is generated using the refiner. And okay, it's a bit too muscly horse, but a lot more realistic looking than the other one. And the grass also looks a lot more realistic. But there is some, maybe it wants to turn into a unicorn. Some stuff here, not very realistic. Also, there's some problems here. There's some colors here. But this side of the image is pretty realistic, I would say. Okay, so now we did this as well using refiner. But now we are coming to the final stage with this stable diffusion, where my favorite checkpoint, which is an improved version of SDXL. This is a upgraded version, let's say, and it's very popular and it's very good. And as a LoRa, I'm going to use photorealistic slider because I would like to generate a photo. I will not see this. Nice. As predicted, it fried. because it was too much on my poor laptop. I need to restart and I will be back. My computer refuses to cooperate, but we sat down and talked about our feelings. We are both good, I think. So let's run the Confi UI again. So this was where we were right. Okay, our image is ready. And it looks amazing, I think. Let's zoom in a bit. Pretty good. Maybe some problems here. There are like extra legs. But overall, I think it looks pretty good. My intention was not to daunt you, overwhelm you, but to show you kind of the logic behind all this prompting and how the images are actually generated. And this is not even the tip of the iceberg. It is not very easy to understand the whole process, but to this extent we can go, and I think this helps with identifying at least which tools we want to go for and what is the logic behind as far as us users are concerned. I think it helps. So without further ado, let's go back to the live event. Thank you very much for your patience and for staying until the end.
While I was listening, Arkam, to the video, I asked Bing AI, what's the opposite of easy peasy lemon squeezy? And it actually gave me a very long answer, giving me the source of the original quote and so on. But it also gave me the answer. And the answer is stress-depressed lemon zest.
Exactly.
I'm joking, of course. You explained that the goal of the video was not to scare anyone, but it's obviously very difficult. It's obvious that it takes a lot of work with computer and so on, and you spent an incredible amount of time first researching, then recording it into a video so we can watch again. But I really like about this video and what you've demonstrated is just how deep we can go, how many things we can incorporate. We can build using 10 different tools into one model, telling the model what to do when and how, through which process to go through, which is really fascinating. It's becoming an art form of its own.
Yeah, exactly, Nebo. It's not a river, it's not a lake, it's not even a sea, it's an ocean. So the idea, also one message here is, if you want to learn about AI, it is great. It has in a near future, it will save a lot of resources for us, but you need to invest time in it to learn, invest a bit of resources in it. And honestly, thinking about Midjourney, for example, $10 a month is not a big resource. Okay. Let's learn a bit now so that when boomers download it on their phone and start generating images, we are already ahead and we know what these tools can do, what they should be doing, including the ethical and legal concerns. So, any questions after the video? Okay, so the thing is, as you see, Stable Diffusion is an open source, as we mentioned a couple of times. And it is designed to run on local machines using whatever interface. The Confi UI and Automatic 1111 that I mentioned, they are just basically, we call diffusion, right? They are de-diffusing what is diffused into the training models. And they are doing it on local computer, but most of the job done, most of the generations done on Stable Diffusion are not done by users using their own computer. What is done is you have these third-party apps, websites. They are basically giving you the cloud servers, and giving you the interface, you prompt, and the process is running somewhere in Iceland, Norway, whatever, in the server. And they are just charging you for this computing power. And in the end, what you did, you just invested your time. Maybe you waited 40, 80, 60 seconds. But in the end, it generated even on your mobile phone or on a very basic computer, just using the browser. So you don't need RTX series, RAM, like a large RAM, large processor. It just does everything in the cloud. And for that, my favorite tool is OpenArt. It is free. Oh, okay, I'm not sharing my screen, sorry. All right. This is OpenArt. This has been my favorite since the beginning, and they are doing a pretty good job. Once you are here, make sure to log in, sign up with your Google. I signed up with my Google account and I logged in. And this is the welcoming screen. You can see the generation of other people here, okay? And what is important is the create section. And in this section, you can see the things that I have created before. For example, this one, a very realistic image of Gandalf from Lord of the Rings riding a unicorn. Gandalf is wearing his long white, whatever, okay, this prompt. And you can see here which model it used to generate this. I used base 09. It was, can I see when it was created? Yes, Sunday, July 16. Okay, but meanwhile, Stable Diffusion released its latest SDXL, which is amazing. And the good thing about these third-party apps, and especially with OpenArt, is when you go to here, switch, it gives you a bunch of different models to choose from. Okay, you can use Stable Diffusion XL. This is the best, in my opinion, for different purposes, most sophisticated. But for photos, you can use this one, you will see the difference. To show you the different, okay, there are other models. They are kind of like anime generation, spatialized, old versions of Stable Diffusion, but we are not interested in them. DALL-E, but when you click on DALL-E, I have 0 DALL-E credits. DALL-E is a paid platform, so I will need paid. If we have the time, I will show you also a platform where you can use DALL-E. But for now, in order not to keep you waiting, I already generated this same prompt that you saw on the video. Beautiful black horse, running on a lush green grass, photo 4K realistic intricate details on OpenArt Creative, which is OpenArt's own tweaked version of Stable Diffusion, because it's open source. So they took it, they improved it, and they provide it on their platform. This is what happens when you prompt the same on OpenArt. Not very impressive, I would say. Okay, and again, this is opened by OpenArt, and this is by Stable Diffusion XL. It looks pretty similar to what you saw on the video, right? The base model. So it generates following the same line. This is also Stable Diffusion XL, but this is amazing. This is very realistic. And this is done by Realistic Vision version 5.1. Another one, same. So it's the purpose matters a lot in deciding which one to use. Okay, one thing to mention here, guys, because these are like gigantic models, and these guys developing these models are doing their best to follow the ethical standards and make sure it's a clean place for everyone, including the children. But it is, in the end, it generates images of the people. It generates real life stuff. And their filters are pretty strong. but sometimes you may end up with surprising results. So be prepared for that. And there are ways around it. One of the ways around it is when you see this in a model, who knows what is NSFW? What does it stand for? Yes, Alex?
Not safe for work.
Exactly. Not safe for work basically means nudity, erotic or gore, violence stuff, okay? I don't think this generates by default NSFW stuff, but when you choose it, make sure to fill in the negative prompts like nude, gore, violence, erotism, and stuff like that. Okay, the things that you don't want on the image. Only then start prompting. Okay. So this was one my favorite third-party app. You can easily go. You don't need all this complicated process on the local machine that I showed you. You can simply go there and start prompting. Let me check my notes if I missed anything. Dolly. Let's try Dolly. Okay, let's try Dolly, and I will conclude after that. Okay, my platform to use Dolly is a platform called Night Cafe Studio. And here also similarly, look, why I am able to create for free on DALL-E here is because I followed their treats. So I would come here from time to time. They give you 5 daily credits. I would collect them. I would connect them to, I don't know, whatever account. I would join their servers and stuff. And in the end, it gave me 88 credits, which is enough for me to show you at least a few DALL-E examples. And I go to create. And again, this is a third-party app, right? And then it gives you all these options, SDXL, Stable Diffusion, different versions, DALL-E, and others. These are also different kind of models. But I go with Dolly. And as soon as I create, it will charge me 1.5 credits. And I will use my prompt with the horse. And I will hit generate. And it will start generating using ChatGPT's creator company OpenAI's image generation model, which is Dolly. And it's created this just to show you the contrast and difference. Okay. So this is about Dolly. As you see clearly, by far the most advanced and the best model is Midjourney. Midjourney is amazing. It's still dominating the market. I would like Stable Diffusion to be successful because it's open source. It gives a lot of freedom. But Midjourney is basically the boss in the market. I hope none of the tech giants like Google will buy this and make them useless in the future. We didn't talk about Google's thing. They are developing, they are at the beta stage of developing their own model called Imagen. And if you go to their website, it's at the beta stage. It is open to a selective group of people. It shows you what it does when you prompt this, you know, shows you examples. But there is no generation tool right now. It gives you a few examples, explain to you what is text to image generation model. Okay. It gives you some information about ethical concerns, social impact, really nice stuff. I would go and read this to get the idea about what are the concerns on the market about these generative tools. What else I have missed? There are a bunch of links I saved. I will send them to you via email after when we follow up. Now the floor is open for you for whatever you want to talk about. You wanna recommend a tool. You wanna talk about your experience about one tool, a few tools. You wanna express some concerns. You have 10 to 15 minutes. Let's use this for the discussion.
Thanks, Erkam. There's Vesna is reminding us about the question about the seed.
Seeds. Okay. Yes. Let's go. What is a seed? Seed is the number of the random number the generation models give to each generation. Okay. This is the most basic visualization of the image generation process. Each of these are called a step. So the model, the bot, creates the images in step by step. What it does is it first creates a noise. This is what they call it, the noise. They create a noise and they call it the static noise. It generates the static random noise, and this is where it gives the name, the number, seed number. And then it works on it, and it slowly generates the image. And then what seed does is, if you use the same seed for a different prompt, you will get more or less the same image generated on the same noise, which will resemble what you did before, but it will not be the same, because AI always thinks differently. And this is one of the biggest problems with generative AI right now, to create consistent characters. And once they solve this, in just 1 or 2 years, we will watch Hollywood quality movies completely generated by AI with funny budgets like 10,000, 50,000 euros. So this is one issue with the generative AI. And I will show you, but is there a question about?
Yes, where can we see seed number?
Exactly. This was what I was going to talk about. So let's find the generated image already that we have upscaled. Let's work with one of these. I'm going to use this one, okay? To see the seed number, you just right click and you react to it with the emoji envelope on Midjourney. On OpenArt, on every generation, there is the seed number. And you can copy it and use in your next generation. Advanced controls should be somewhere here. Use seed or something. Maybe on photorealistic it doesn't have it. Seed. So see, use seed and it is enabled, and you can use the same seed number. This is how it works in Stable Diffusion and OpenArt interface. On Midjourney, so the bot sent me a message with the seed number and with the prompt too. So what I'm going to do is I will copy all this. Okay. I'll go to my webinar page. I'll go imagine prompt. I will say photo two men, not women, shaking hands through border fence, blah, 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 same things. I will delete this. This is not necessary. And I will use -- seed number that it gave me. Okay. And I don't know what it will do, but in theory, this should work. Meanwhile, if you have questions while it is generating, please do ask, because we are slowly coming to the end.
May I?
Yes, please, Vesna.
I was writing before in the chat some of the AI tools that I discovered. Well, I haven't tried them all. For example, undetectable AI or some others. I don't know. It's always jumping on my Instagram, on other social media, like people are discovering and showing to other people, because there are like thousands and thousands of different AI tools. So I wrote some of them, for example, for videos, some Synthesia or something like that, or for preparing PPTs. So, well, as I said, I haven't tried them all, but people can just go and look up. So it's in the chat.
Yeah, for videos also, before I forget, Runway ML is pretty good also. This platform is also very popular and very good. I mean, it's trial and error, but when it comes to image generation, rest assured that you have learned today the three pioneers in the field. Many of them use Stable Diffusion anyway. Okay, so Runway ML, check it out and try it yourself. What it generated is this. Of all that it generated, only the second one resembles what seed we use. But whatever. This is an issue anyway. That's why I left it to the last. Even the creators are trying to find a way to make the characters consistent. And honestly, even while preparing this webinar, there were new tools, new updates to Midjourney, new updates to Stable Diffusion. So we have to constantly adapt and catch up with the developments.
There's a question about how much time we spent so far on experimenting. And from my side, we've been talking about AI since early this year. With Arkham, we hadn't planned to have this conference. We did talk about AI at our meeting in Belgrade 2 months ago, so we were prepared for that a little bit. And ever since, in preparation for this webinar, in my case, I would say, but it's on and off, it's not like I sit on my computer and spend 8 hours on AI, but it's been on and off for like a couple of weeks, more intensively preparing for today's session. And Arkham, I think even longer for images because they're more complicated, right, Arkham?
True, but I must say, after 13 years in Interact and 7.5 years in Interact, this is like a very good boost in my curiosity and enthusiasm in communication work. And like Nebo, from early this year, it grabbed my attention. I was not very interested, but when we were doing the big communication for beginners seminar, preparing it end of June in Belgrade, basically a month before that, in early June, I started working on this, and I had no idea of coming to Belgrade, showing the people like, guys, I have no idea. This is what I found so far. But over summer, I spent more time on it, and now my Twitter timeline is flooded with AI related content, because now it knows that I'm interested in this, and I keep bookmarking whatever I see on. I insist calling it Twitter. It's not X. So my bookmarks are basically, they're like, I don't know, maybe 150 bookmarks here, all most about AI. Okay, whenever I see something, I just simply go and bookmark it for inspiration to try them. And all the things I showed you today, I was largely inspired actually by what these nerds on Twitter, and I went and tried it myself. Oh, really? Yeah. So these are the tips.
Applause for all the efforts both of
Thank
you
you.
have done.
Thank you. I wasn't fishing for compliments. I just,
But it's obvious that you put a lot of time, but the more you go into, the more you fall deeper into this.
True. Thank you. But this is the right time to tell you that Nebo and I, we are planning something more detailed. Next year, we will have a 2 days event, physical event, where we will go more in depth with the AI. Because today I didn't show you a lot of things that I wanted to show you. I was working on ChatGPT and Bard and trying to create a prompt generation machine for projects. So you put the project description there, and it gives you the prompt to create visuals for it on Midjourney. So I was experimenting with this. I came to a certain extent. It wasn't perfect. So I was like, okay, this is maybe something for the physical event later. Guys, we have a wrap-up poll. I would like to launch it now. Please let us know. It's simple. It's about your feelings. There are 3 questions. Please take the time to read and respond to them. Okay, 52 out of 60 respondents. Let me show you results. So many people feel curious, which is very good result. This is exactly what Nebo and we tried to achieve with this session, which will open the path for further developments in Interreg. We shouldn't lag behind. It will be like social media, everybody will use it. So we might as well start learning now, getting curious. Do you plan to deepen your knowledge? 100% says yes. Amazing, guys. Big applause from me to you. And are you interested in more advanced trainings? 92% is interested. Thank you very much. It means that you are leaving this training with a bit of insights, and we are happy about it. The last thing, guys, I will share with you the evaluation form. Please open this link, and when the meeting ends, please fill out the evaluation form, which helps us greatly to see what was missing, how we can do better, what was good, what we should keep. And Nebo, any last closing words?
There was a raised hand from Alexander.
Yes, I'll just pinch 20 seconds of your time. I just wanted to say in June, at the end of June in Belgrade, when we talked about this, I expected something like this, but the two of you outdone yourselves again. It was fantastic. Thanks a lot, guys. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Alex. Thank you very much, everybody. Please do fill out the evaluation form then. And if you have any question, drop me a line, drop Nebojša and a line. Don't write official emails, just, hey guys, I was wondering, and that's enough. And we hope to see you next time then. Have a great...
Sorry, Arkam, there's a good question.
Carmen, please.
And from Carmen.
Sorry, related to the evaluation, how would you rate this event? Is 1 the best or 5 the best?
I think
we have a choice from 1 to 5?
5 is the best. 5 is the best.
Okay, so 5 is the best.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Then, goodbye, everybody. Ciao.
Bye.
Before you leave,
Bye.
if you have like a few seconds more, it's a question about copyrights. If I use the picture of someone else as a base and not just upgrade it with AI, or take someone else's AI image and again modify it, should I add some reference to them in the copyrights?
Well, you shouldn't use somebody else's image. You mean for somebody else's creation or somebody else's visual image?
Both, I think both. One is
Somebody else's creation AI, because I know you shouldn't train AI with someone else's AI platform and stuff. Okay, that's clear. But what if I already use, like, if I upload the image of created by AI by someone else already?
Okay, so you didn't recreate it, but you used the image that was already created by somebody else.
Yes, but I modify something. It's still, because sometimes, I don't know, I take an image and I change the color.
This is a question.
Still, I have to, in the copyright, I still say, okay, this is the original image, I just modified it. Do I have to do the same with AI?
I don't have an answer to this as a, like, this is a lawyer kind of question, but I would say, why use somebody else's image while you can regenerate it easily?
Okay.
Especially considering the describe option on Midjourney, where you can do this stuff in a lot easier way and save yourself from many troubles.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Anna, though.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys, and thank you.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Thank you. See you soon.
Thank you. Bye.